Check, check. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing.
Say that. I think that'll sound fodder to the close but not quite.
Hello, everyone. If you want to, if you want to come up closer to the front, welcome to our council chambers to the new city of Indio City Hall. So we're going to get started here in a second. So if we can get everybody up. Doesn't have to be that quiet. Holy moly. Subdivision, are we ready? Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is our first council meeting in our new chambers here in our new city hall, so thank all of you for coming. And we do have a few bugs here and there. Think about this. This is a brand new building. It's huge, and we're going to be working on stuff, so some of our audio is not going to be all the same. Sometimes we might have problems, so please bear with us. And like I said, we're just excited to have this new building, not only for our residents, but also for our amazing staff. So with that, we're going to call the meeting to order at 5:12. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Huitron.
Present.
Councilmember Ortiz.
Present.
Councilmember Furman.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Holmes. Present. And Mayor Miller.
Present. At this time, if we could all rise, I have invocation. I take it that Pastor Tony Williams is going to be doing it for Love of Christ Community Church.
I get to see if this works or not, right?
Your voice is loud enough.
Thank you, sir. I think that's a compliment. Hey, man, I'm just honored to be here and to say this first invocation at our new building. I love the city. I love everything about Indio. I'm Indio through and through, so I'm honored. Father God, we just want to say thank you first and foremost, Lord, because you've been gracious enough to us to give us breath in our body, strength in our bodies, Lord, and you've given us a great community. So, Lord, we ask that you just give us wisdom to govern this community. Lord, keep our first responders, keep our law enforcement, keep our residents all safe. Father, provide for all of those that have needs, Lord, and let us not forget the least of them. They might not have a seat right here, but they need to be represented because they are us just as much as anybody else. So, Lord, as we steward, we don't own, as we steward, we'll be mindful to seek your wisdom, to seek your guidance, to be selfless in all our endeavors. And Lord, I just ask you grant good things, peace and safety all around and every day in this building. Let no hurt or harm or danger ever present itself. And we thank you for our council members, our mayor, and all that serve our city. In Jesus' name we thank you and pray. Amen.
Amen. And if you'd still stand, we have a very special individual that's going to do our flag salute. Natalie Cruz from Lyndon B. Johnson Elementary School. Natalie is a 7-year-old who was born on December 25th, Christmas baby. Wow. She enjoys arts and crafts, especially coloring. She has 3 siblings, 1 brother and 2 sisters. Would you like to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, young lady? The floor is yours.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Come on, don't leave us, young lady. Give it a flag back for you. But you don't get one council, you get all of us. You're the first one. We're gonna take a special picture with you, and we'd like to do one with you too, Pastor.
How you doing? That's why I went to school.
This is for you. Thank you. You're in the middle. Elaine, you on one side and on the other?
All right.
Pass.
Let's move down. Come on, this way. Here, come a little closer. There we go. Perfect.
Oh, you gotta have the Indio. Marketing.
A little closer. All right.
Congratulations. special day. With that, I'm going to move on to item number 4, which is the city attorney report on closed session. Anything, city attorney?
Thank you, Mayor. There's no reportable action this evening.
Thank you. And with that, before I go on to the next item, I want to introduce a couple people here. We have past Councilwoman Mayor Melanie Fessmeyer here with us today. She'd stand up. We have our city elected clerk, Cynthia Hernandez. We have our city treasurer, Mr. Rob Rockwell. And I know we have a couple of planning commissioners here. I know we got Felice Ortiz. We have my commissioner, Gloria Franz. Is there anybody else, any commissioner? If not, please stand up so you can be recognized. Oh, Kelly, sorry. Thank all of you for serving. So with that, we'll get on to the main event for right now, which is the reorganization of the city council, the transition of mayor and mayor pro tem. And we have a staff report.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and council members. So we have resolution number 9507 that establishes the policy for the rotation of the mayor and mayor pro tem. In accordance with this resolution, the mayor pro tem Holmes, or Mayor pro tem Holmes, now serves as mayor for the year 2026. And Councilmember Furman serves as the mayor pro tem for 2026. Mayor Miller, at this time, you may pass the gavel to Mayor pro tem Holmes.
I don't want to.
You gotta.
Under the seal?
Yeah.
There we go. Marketing.
Perfect, thank
Thank
you.
you.
I now invite Mayor Holmes to meet me at the floor so I can administer the mayor oath.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will read the statement, and then you just say "I do" at the end. Raise your right hand. Oh. Mayor, do you, Elaine Holmes, solemnly swear or affirm to support the Constitution of the United States and the State of California, to uphold the goals, mission, and objectives of the city, and to the best of your ability, perform the duties of mayor in the service of the residents of India?
I do.
Congratulations.
You're not going to do the mayor pro tem?
And now we have the presentation of the gavel to Glenn Miller. If you want to come down here, please. Mayor Pro Tem,
Oh, yeah.
would you like to join us?
I'm a little daydreaming a little bit. Sorry.
My partner in crime for the next year, Wayman Furman, Mayor Pro Tem. That's beautiful. It's always a pleasure serving on this council, and it's always been a pleasure serving with you. You helped us navigate just through an amazing year. And that year included a new police station. It included a library, these chambers, endless ribbon cuttings. You were everywhere all the time. Your positive spirit just moves this city forward. And I just want to thank you on behalf of myself, on behalf of the city, and everyone here in the city for the hard work. I don't know anyone that works as hard and loves the city as much as you do.
Thank you.
And Wayman, I'm going to turn that over to you before I hand this to you.
First of all, welcome and thank you all for coming. This is a special occasion, and I've been talking a lot about this day, but what makes it even more special is we get to honor our outgoing mayor for the work that he's done and the advocacy he's done for our city. This is not the first time he's been here, and that speaks to the work that he's done. He's been elected numerous times as a council member here in the city of Indio because he does tremendous work. We all work together as a great unit, but it does take a leader to lead this city. No matter what corner of this country you travel right now, you hear about the city of Indio. And a lot of that is attributed to our mayor, Glenn Miller. So I want to thank you for the hard work, always having a reasonable mindset and mood to get all of us on the same page to move forward. We have a unique council. We get things done in our city. And this is a testament to it right now. So thank you for your work. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve with you. I know we have many more years to go. We're not going to let you leave. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. Get the rest of the council in too, please. Oh, marketing. Thank you. Now it's my turn. Well, thank all of you. And there's 4 reasons, and it's been one of my greatest honors to serve on this city council. It's an amazing city. But there's 4 reasons that I'm successful, and one of them is these 4 individuals here. No matter what anybody can say, this council works together. We don't always agree. We don't always have the same thoughts and ideas, but we love this city. These council members work tirelessly in their ways that they do to make this city successful. Then our staff, number 2, the eyes, ears, faces of our community. They make the job so simple. And if you see fodder, you see all the other accolades that this city gets, it's because of our city staff. From our police department to planning to public works to our great city manager to our city attorney to our clerks, everyone that works makes this city what's so special. And then our businesses. Millions and millions of dollars have been reinvested back in it. City businesses have been here for 70 years, like El Mexicali Cafe or Reconurteno for 60, or Yellow Mart, to the brand new ones like the Desert Beer, Rosemary Hi-Fi, Keaty's. I mean, you name it. We've been having ribbon cuttings since because people invested in us because we invested in ourselves. And then the amazing residents we have that bet on us, that gave us the 1-cent sales tax, because without that, we wouldn't be sitting here. We wouldn't be talking about all these great things. It took our residents to believe that this council, this staff, this community would put the money that they gave us back into the city to make it better. And so it's a contributing of all of you. So being the mayor of this city, it might sound difficult, but because of all of you, it made it very, very easy. You made me look good. So thank you for the honor of being your mayor, and congratulations to all of you for last year. And let's have a great Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, great, Happy Holidays and New Year, and to have a great 2026. God bless all of you.
Mayor, before you all go back to your seats, there's one more gift from the city, so if you'd like to present that to Mayor.
This is better than Christmas.
Oh, my gosh.
Mr. Miller?
There you go, with much love
Oh, thank you.
from the city of Indio. You gotta open it.
Oh, I gotta open it?
I just want everybody to know that every time we get a package like this, it has the logo, and did you notice that the tissue paper matches the logo, right?
Oh.
This is the extraordinary level of
This is-
attention our staff has.
This is too much. Anybody that knows me. Exactly what I need.
You got more time now.
Thank all of you. This is beautiful. But one of them I'm going to have you all sign. The other one I'm going to use to beat everybody in La Quinta.
Well, that's not a hard act to follow. It's amazing. That's the kind of passion we have here in the city of Indio, and what an amazing year, couple of years it's been, particularly the last year under Mayor Glenn Miller. It has been amazing what we've accomplished. Every restaurant, every building, we have just worked so hard to bring that to fruition, but you ain't seen nothing yet. We've got a year ahead of us. The golf course clubhouse is going to be finished. We have restaurants. We have a police station that's going to, another administration building that's going to come onto the ground. We are moving. We are moving because you, our residents, said, green light, go. Make this a city of families. Make this a city where we have a place to dine, a place to hang out with our families. Give us music. Give us festivals. Last year, what we didn't talk about that Mayor Miller oversaw were things like the first Asada Fest or the barbecue festival that had upwards of 9,000 people in our downtown. What about our second Saturdays and the concerts that we have? Well, there's more to come. And there's going to be more to come on that site, and we're going to focus on wellness. We're going to have different genres of music and events all around our community. You see, what makes this a really wonderful community are the families. When you come to these events and you see the families and you see the kids and you see the grandkids, that makes it work. And our businesses are thriving. And more businesses are looking to come into Indio to be a part of a really awesome scene, a really friendly scene, a really family-oriented and supportive scene. It doesn't stop. It's kind of like that snowball, right? Once you get that, once that snowball rolls, it just goes and goes and goes and gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and there is no limit to that and what we want to do for our community. So I really appreciate everyone here. By the way, these are your chambers. This is your city hall. And so I want to welcome everyone and take a moment to go outside. I presume we're still going outside for the first time use. You all get to go outside onto this amazing balcony and enjoy some finger food, some hors d'oeuvres, celebrate for a few minutes while they make some changes there to the dais. But thank you all the businesses, thank you all the residents. And I have one request as mayor that everybody else has here. Shop local, make every penny count. Reinvest in our community, because when you reinvest in our community, this is what you get. All right, please join me outside.
After I got all my stuff set up.
Yeah, I know, I was singing the same thing. Dobby, are you gonna want us to move this stuff? You want us to move it over? Are we? We'll move it for you. Okay. Oscar, you're going over there, right?
Yeah, we moved that way.
Sideways.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
Come on, you've done this a lot of times already.
Well, yeah, but everyone's remember we used to change it. It used to be up to the mayor.
Yeah.
Wanted to sit next to him.
And I you know, it's cool being in the middle, but it's fun being on that.
right, I get to do this. That's kind of fun. Good evening, everyone. We get to call the meeting to order here. This is a regular session. It is 5:58 p.m. And I'd like to call the meeting to order, please.
Start with roll call. Councilmember Miller,
Present?
Councilmember Huitron,
Present.
Councilmember Ortiz,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Furman,
Present.
and Mayor Holmes.
Present. And so we pass the invocation presentations. Oh, how awesome. What a great way to start with new employee introductions.
Well, I have the honor, Mayor, to introduce some new members of Team Indio. If you'd like to come down and join me, I think
All of
that's
us.
how we typically do that. So while the council is coming down, I would like to introduce, we do have some nice swag bags for our new members of Team Indio. Our new plans examiner, Rebecca McEwen, if you'd like to come forward, let's give her a hand. You kind of get to go through the gauntlet of shaking hands up here, and then if you'll stay up here, we'll take a little photo too, but welcome. Let you have that, and then go down the line here. Rebecca was actually with us previously and came back. She knew what a great team this was. And also Justino Lopez Gonzalez, he's our IWA junior engineer. Give him a hand. Justino's right out of college and knew where he wanted to serve as well. Congratulations.
Welcome. Nice. Nice, yes.
So, Mayor, I want to make sure that each of you, please stay here. We'll have a nice photo op that's happening now. Well, I just saw Yvette. No, two. No, that's it. But as I typically and always say, we have a great opportunity to serve the residents of Indio, and this is a team. And these newest members of Team Indio, I commend to you as a fellow resident of Indio as people worthy to serve us and to diligently provide the services that enhance the quality of life of our community, which is our mission. So, Mayor, with that, certainly a few words are welcome.
Absolutely. Well, you picked the right team. This is awesome. For all the reasons City Manager mentioned, we are totally service-oriented. We are on the move, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great career and a great opportunity for you, so welcome.
Thank you, and welcome back to Indio, and thank you for going out and getting your education and coming back to Indio. That's one of our goals, is to let our youngsters and our young adults go out and get all that knowledge, wisdom, education, spread their wings, and come back and share with the community. So I appreciate you for that, and I appreciate you for coming back to Team Indio, doing the same thing. You know you're with the winning team, right? So looking forward to working with you all.
Let's have a photo op. Let's give him another hand. In the middle, Mayor. Mayor's got to be in the middle. Oh, yep. Marketing.
Yeah, you'll get used to that. But see, I like the uniform works. It's just perfect. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Thanks. We'll let you come our way.
Okay, let's see what's next. What do we have next? Yeah, thank you, Prior Mayor. I appreciate that. Youth Advisory Council is next, and gosh, I miss you guys up here. Hi, do you have a report?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Jalissa Cornejo, and I'm the Youth Advisory Council publicist. Since our last meeting, YAC volunteered at the Indio Teen Center's 17th annual Thanksgiving feast, helping to serve a nice Thanksgiving dinner to all the teens with the help of Crowing Company. We'd also like to congratulate Team Unks in their 11-20 win at the basketball game against the ITC teens. YAC is also hosting a blanket drive until December 12th to help people in need as the weather cools down. We're collecting those donations at the Indio Teen Center, and we're looking to collect new and used blankets. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Always great to have you. The next item is City Manager reports and information.
Thank you, Mayor. Certainly welcoming everybody to the new building. There is a lot left yet to be done. You can see some of the ceiling treatment and other elements are not quite complete in this room, and there are other things going on in the building, but we're here and here to serve the community, as was stated by the mayor previously. This is your city hall, and it's an opportunity where we can show the pride in our community and attract the type of employees like you saw here, members of the team. They're going to serve diligently and make Indio even better. That this is a symbol that not as great as the years of past have been, the best years for Indio are yet to come. Also with that, Mayor, we have our annual tree lighting ceremony. I'm sure each of you will mention that and invite folks this Friday at 5 p.m. here across the way to light the tree and have some fun and food. And then, of course, the Tamale Festival this coming weekend. And that's my report, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Next item, City Council report on meetings attended, conflict of interest disclosure. Does anyone have any conflict of interest on the agenda that they need to report? No? Okay, we're good on that. Next one, City Council report on meetings attended per Government Code Section 532.32.3D. Shall we start with you?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I had two of my committees were active. The first one was Sunline Transit Agency. It was our end of the year meeting, so we got 2 months worth of work in. One of the highlights of it is they're getting the 14th generation of hydrogen cell buses coming in. They were not coming to 2028, but there's 8 of them. It was a $14 million investment. A lot of the money come from the federal government because it was hydrogen cell fuel. They are looking at building a station here in Indio so that they can have hydrogen cell fuel for not only their vehicles, but other vehicles that are starting to come onto the market that are hydrogen cell. And then also they're going to start getting a group together on routes. They're going to redo the routes throughout the Coachella Valley, so they're looking for input for a lot of individuals that either take the bus, don't take the bus, or have an idea of where it needs to go. So they're looking for input. So if you look on sunline.org, you'll see their schedule of places that they're going to be able to get input from the individuals so they can get the routes that people are going to be able to use, hopefully a little bit more than what they are now, like the Coachella Senior Center they were talking about last time. There's always not an opportunity for like Sunline. You can only go so far in. There's only so many buses. So it's not like LA or any of the other large cities. They come over on a period of time. So they're limited to the areas they can go. And a lot of people don't realize too that if you have a fixed route, the other buses that help, like the handicap buses, Sundial and the other ones, can't go more than 3/4 of a mile off the route. So if you live a mile into an HOA, they actually can't go to your house and pick you up. You have to go somewhere where they can get to you. So trying to put those routes where they can be most used for people that actually need it is a kind of a thing that they're looking at. So it's not as simple as just going this way or that direction. So it's some great highlights from Sunline. The other one was CVAG Executive. 2 of the items that were approved was $1.95 million for Avenue 38 to Sun City Boulevard, which is going 4 lanes all the way up Jefferson to Talavera, starting at Sun City Shadow Hills, and another $1.94 million for the expansion of 4 lanes on 50th Avenue from Jefferson to Jackson. So the city of Indio will be getting $4 more million worth of grant money from CVAG for their transportation to be able to help with those projects. So with that, the other highlight is I want to thank Valley Sanitary District for their 100th year. They were at the Coachella Valley History Museum, our little beautiful gym there in the desert if you haven't been there. But they were celebrating 100 years, actually older than the city of Indio. The city of Indio is 95 years. Valley Sanitary District is 100. They had an event celebrating the work that they're doing and coming forward. So it was very well done, and it was very well attended by everybody in the Coachella Valley that wanted to thank them for the work they did. And it was a pleasure to work with them on a continual basis. So, Madam Mayor, that's all for me.
That's quite a bit. Thank you very, very much. Councilmember Gutron.
Just a couple of things. So Thursday, November 20th, I also attended the Valley Sanitation District 100-year anniversary at the beautiful Coachella Valley History Museum. And Glenn Miller brought up a lot of good points, but it just makes you realize how many celebrations we're going to be having in the next 6 years. So this is one, there's many others, and then ours is literally just under a little bit over 4 years away. It'll be 100. So it was really nice to kind of see that and appreciate the sanitation district of what they've done and what an excellent facility of public service it provides the city of Indio. So it was a good recognition. The other one was, obviously, it was mentioned by our YAC representative that's here tonight, that they had a basketball game. And it just kind of reflects the investment we've done with that teen center. And hopefully we can look for further expansions because it brings a lot of value to our teens. The game was really good. There was a good group of staff from the city, from the police, from HR, and other people that they were able to recruit. It was a really good game. But it just reminds us of the interaction this community is committed in working with the youth of our community, because they are our future, from the teen centers to the schools and the many, many programs that we're fortunate to have today. Thank you, and that is all that I have to report at this time.
You know, I couldn't agree with you more. That was some of the conversations I was just having outside, so thank you for that. Councilmember Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. On the 20th, I joined Councilmember Ben Huitron, the Rotary of Indio, and the Shadow Hills Interact Club at the Horizons Senior Housing Neighborhood, where we help serve Thanksgiving dinner to the seniors in that community. I want to thank the Shadow Hills students for showing up for our seniors out there. I recently met with some of the representatives from the Augustine Band of Cahuilla Indians. We talked about how we can work together to build up the relationship between our two governments. I relayed to them that it would be great if we could potentially incorporate a community event in Indio celebrating Cahuilla culture so that our residents can learn a little bit more about our history out here. And on that note, I also attended the Cabazon Powwow at Fantasy Springs, had the chance to see the grand entry there when tribes from all over the nation come out together to share their songs and dances with our community. If you haven't been there, I definitely recommend attending. It's always the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday after Thanksgiving, so I hope to see some of you out there next year. I also attended the Saguaro Coffee ribbon cutting on Oasis Street. They had some great coffee in a really nice new space, and we're happy to have another family-owned business joining our downtown area. I attended the Community Associations luncheon at Sun City Palm Desert, where we heard from HOA representatives from around the region about some of the current policies and legislation impacting our HOA communities and some potential solutions for them moving forward. I attended the staff versus the teen center basketball game. I think HR was a bit nervous as we tried not to hurt ourselves out there, but we had a lot of fun, and it was a great opportunity to meet some of the students that are attending our teen center. And lastly, I wanted to invite everyone to our tree lighting ceremony tomorrow at 5 p.m., Friday at 5 p.m., and to our Tamale Festival this Saturday and Sunday at Malls Park. We hope to see you out there. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem.
That me? Okay, yeah. Welcome, and I hope everyone had a beautiful Thanksgiving. And I did have a couple of meetings. I did have a Coachella Valley Power Agency meeting. During the course of that meeting, the board approved and adopted a resolution which allows Imperial Irrigation to contribute up to 20% toward eligible infrastructure projects, and such as new substations that will benefit the overall IID electrical system. This action also strengthens the regional cost sharing and promotes transparency and supports future growth across the Coachella Valley, eastern Coachella Valley. IID also reported on progress on current infrastructure projects, including the expansion of Avenue 58 transformer site, adding a new bay to support the service of parts of the eastern Coachella Valley, in specific La Quinta. There was also an update on the Cook transformer, which continued to advance in that for that transformer site. And during the course of that meeting, I did ask IID to come to the next power agency meeting to do a presentation on their solar program. There have been some challenges and questions and scams and things surrounding solar in our eastern Coachella Valley. And thank you. And so I did ask them to do a presentation on their solar program and also data centers. Recently, they released a bulletin on data centers, so there's been questions surrounding that. So as we progress and work with our power infrastructure here in Indio and Eastern Coachella Valley, we're still continuing to work with IID in this JPA. I also had a joint meeting with our CVAG Homelessness Committee and the Executive Committee, and during that joint meeting, What do we do? Oh, there we go. We had a brief overview of the status of the CV Housing Program, which is a regional initiative that helps unhoused individuals and families in the Coachella Valley to find stable housing through rapid rehousing and crisis stabilization units and supportive services. We also had a closed session, which in whole I can't talk about, but part of this meeting was that CVAG reaffirmed its commitment to operate this program lawfully and ethically, to collaborate with all the member cities, including the city of Indio, to ensure support for vulnerable services, for vulnerable individuals in our community. And right before the meeting, I did do a report with KESQ, and I want to talk about that because that's something that kind of takes a back seat, but we're still working on it, and that's the CV Rail project. And everyone in here, including the council and our community, we need to continue to advocate for commuter rail, not only in Coachella Valley, but advocate for a stop here in downtown Indio. For the historians in here, they could talk about how the city was founded. It was founded by rail. Indio is a prime location for rail. You see our revitalized downtown. You see our city and its growth, its stability, its safety. And our city is the only city in the Coachella Valley where rail runs directly through the city. There is residential, there is commerce on both sides of that train, and it's directly across the street from our downtown, which is connected, and it also gives you access to areas of north of the freeway in La Quinta, and also our new sports complex that's coming online soon. So Indio is a prime location for commuter rail. Also, Indio has had a feasibility study complete for years already. So we are shovel ready and ready to go. And we'll continue to work with our federal, state, local representatives to make sure we start cutting that red tape and get these funds to communities who are ready to move. In Indio, we're moving. So thank you. And I will also speak on the Armory. You know, I get a lot of people reaching out to me, you know, what happened to the Armory? Why was the Army demolished? Well, you know, as we continue to grow in the city, we have seen some of our historical buildings be demolished. I mean, we're on top of one right now. Our old library used to be here. And although it may be heartbreaking to see some of our buildings demolished, it's actually a good thing because it's showing progress that we're getting closer to expanding our interchanges, right? So that needed to come down because we're going to expand the Jackson interchange. Monroe will be first. We're getting close to Monroe. But Jackson will be shortly after. And if you see the Avenue 44 bridge, it's almost complete. So our infrastructure, we're moving fast. Our development, we're moving fast. Our public safety, we're moving fast. And as we can see with this new chamber, it's a beautiful thing. So that will complete my report, Madam Mayor.
That was fantastic. Councilmember Boutron, you had some additional comments?
I just I think it's important because this is a beautiful accomplishment, and I think it's important just to kind of realize our humble beginnings. And I'm just going to quote some statements, and hopefully it resonates in your honor as the mayor in this beautiful building. The city of Indio was officially born in 1930, when 154 voters of the city, or the town of Indio, nearly was incorporated by a vote of 154 and 131 against. The thrust of incorporation came over a long period of gradual growth and force, according to the early statements and articles, things that were written at the time. The reason for the move was the fundamental growth of residents and businesses in our community and trying to keep up with the times and the need. The actual voting took place on May 6, 1930, and we were incorporated May 16, 1930. And what I find interesting, the concerns of then and how we're doing today, that the first meeting that was held, and what was important was Councilman Ray Pauley laid $1 on the table where they were meeting. And the remark was, we now have money. The city has money to operate with its first $1, which staff is currently trying to find that $1 so we can properly display once again.
Frame it.
The interesting part is they met, so everybody understands, is they met at a local attorney's office on Fargo Street, and that was T.C. Yeager, who eventually became the first city attorney. The next thing after that, in their discussion for the first meeting, was what was a major agenda concern was ordering blank forms in which to write city business and ordering the forms with approval of the council that was sent to a print shop in San Francisco, because there wasn't one local. The next thing was the problem was parking, was the challenge, which I think that's our challenge today with so many things going on in the city. But the one thing they walked away, which was interesting, is they were working together, trying to figure out how to start the city. And they found an old book that laid out how to work as a municipal agency, and then they started and hit the ground running. Thank you to the founders of where we are today.
That's perfect. Thank you very, very much, Councilmember Gutron. That truly, truly is perfect. Because I was thinking, and in more current times, seeing former Mayor Melanie Fessmeyer, this has been a dream and a vision of former councils. I mean, so many people see things that are going on and happening, but a lot of this has been the dream and the vision of all of our former council members, all of your team members at the time, for having the dream and having the vision. It took us a while, as you can see, to all former council members for having the vision of what the city could be and what it. All right, so it's my turn. So I just have a few things. Like everyone else, I attended the Valley Sanitary. I mean, that's, you know, people think, well, that's just, you know, not very interesting or very sexy, but I'm here to tell you, we cannot live without Valley Sanitary. And they put together a really wonderful event there, and it was great about their history and how they served. Need to be closer? Is that what you guys are saying? Okay. Much better, thank you. And how they've served the communities and how they continue to serve our communities. It's just hard to recognize that they've been here 100 years. I mean, these are big numbers. What Councilmember Gutron just talked about, nearly 100 years almost. We're getting there. So we've been around the block. Some of the other things that I did, the coffee, saguaro, the ribbon cutting, you know, there is something happening, I think, every weekend, if not almost every day of the week. And it's really exciting to be a part. Great coffee shop over on Oasis. Our downtown is rocking and rolling, as is North Indio and every other segment of our city. Let's see, what else did I do? I've done so many things. I just really want to focus on what's coming up, and one of the things is the tree lighting. It's a very exciting time. We get to do the tree lighting. We get to give away. Usually, we're donating bikes and gifts to the kids in the community, the needy kids in the community that really need to be embraced and loved. And that's a really wonderful part. There'll be music. There'll be local. Community, local schools that will be performing, and that's just really fun to see the kids. There's nothing better than watching the kids perform. So the tree lighting gets a little bit better every year, a little bit more fun, a little bit more food. So please be sure to be there Friday at 5 o'clock. And then the Tamale Festival kicks off Saturday, technically at 10 o'clock. You got to get your orders in pretty early because there'll be all kinds of tamales there. There will be gourmet tamales, traditional tamales, dessert tamales, more types of tamales. I think more than 40 tamale vendors will be there this weekend. So in addition to the tamale vendors, there'll be music and stages and whatnot. So once again, you know, Indio is taking center stage. And in the music and festivities of the season. So that's really wonderful. Okay, that is the next item is item number 12, appointments, mayoral assignments to committees, commissions, and boards. City clerk, there were no changes. Is there anything further we need to do?
No, just a consensus to approve the attachment to the list that was submitted. Do you have a change?
One thing, can we look at the animal control services? Does it have Councilmember Gutron on there, or does it have myself and Kim Hardy?
To answer the question, I was going to bring it up. It's supposed to be Ken Harding.
Got it.
That was discussed and appointed by then Mayor Glenn Miller.
We will make that change, Mayor.
Okay, terrific. And with that change, all we need is a mutual agreement to ratify the assignments by consensus. Does everybody agree with these assignments? We're all good. Outstanding. We're all good. Because next we get to go to the consent calendar. Does anyone wish to pull anything on the consent calendar?
I Make a motion to accept the consent calendar 13-1 through 13-12 as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, we need to have roll call, I believe. Are we doing roll call?
Yes.
Okay.
Councilmember Miller,
Aye.
Councilmember Huitron,
Aye.
Councilmember Ortiz,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Furman,
Aye.
and Mayor Holmes.
Aye, fantastic.
Mayor, with respects, I just wanted to just make one small comment in regards to the agreement with the Greyhound facility. If you concur, or the rest of the councils, we really need to make sure that we get a good landscaping and maintenance plan, because it always seems to lack a little TLC. That's it.
Sure we all agree with that?
And if I could, Madam Mayor, and city managers, that's one thing I think we really, and Wayman, Councilman Furman put that in there, talking about the transportation
Yeah.
center. I really do think we need to look at what we can do with the Federal Transportation Commission, the Highway Authority, who runs the rail, and look where we can get that platform, because that Greyhound shack is unacceptable, and I think if we start to move towards that, as long as we can get where the rail platform is going to be, then we can build up around it and kind of have some stuff ready to go, so when actually the Metrolink or Amtrak comes in and comes through, we already have a lot of our stuff in place and can hit the ground running. Always been the issue is trying to put the platform in before they give you the permission is illegal. So if we can find out where they'd like that, maybe we can build around it and give Greyhound a little bit of comfort and some of our individuals that come there, because I don't think that is what Indio should stand for. It was supposed to be temporary, and it's been temporary for like the last 10 years. So, it really needs to look at what we can do, because, when people come into the city of Indio and they see that, they might not see anything but that. That's the only input they're gonna ever see. So,
I couldn't agree more. We need to somehow push, move forward, lobby, whatever, to try to get things. We need the first thing, we need that platform, and then I think we'll be able to move forward with a lot more expediency.
or even a better modular building that we
For
buy and put in
Greyhound.
there for now, that has the comfort, air conditioning, and other stuff for people to be able to sit down and do some stuff in there that they
Yes.
need to do.
Right.
And restrooms.
What kicked it was the new monument sign that Councilman Wayman
Oh, yeah.
put up.
It's nice,
It-
yeah.
It doesn't reflect what the facility's really
Yeah,
about.
I think it's a starting point. I think we're going to get there. It takes a little time. I think we could advocate more. Especially RCTC is leading some of these efforts, but we have a lot of our federal agencies on board. But what it boils down to is when you have a new administration in Washington D.C. and you have new elected officials, state and local level, you have to learn how to speak their language, and I pride myself in doing that and advocating for the city. So we're going to get that done with our staff and our partners. We're going to get that transportation hub completed, and we will get commuter rail in our city. One of the unique things about this commuter rail is, we talk about, the high-speed rail project in California. We talk about the one from Las Vegas. The one from Las Vegas is under construction now. But if we plan for the future, that could happen here as well. It's just changing the track out. The feasibility studies, environmental studies will be done, and in the future, 20, 30 years down the line, if that happens, we've laid the platform for that, because all the environmental reviews have been done, but it's a lot of red tape and a lot of minutia going through different cities, different counties, different regions to get these projects done. But with our partners in California, we need to speak that language, and our partners in Washington, D.C., we got to speak that language. So we're on it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that report.
I'm sorry, I'm sounding too serious. I'm sorry.
No, I think it's a passion of all of us, and I appreciate that passion that you have, that we all have for that. That's super important. Okay, the next item is presentation regarding progress with the exclusive negotiating agreement between the City of Indio and HCL Indio Land Development LLC concerning the potential disposition and development of city-owned property located behind the former Indio Fashion Mall.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll go ahead and just present. We do have representatives here from HCL Indio Land Development. But earlier this year, the city and you approved an exclusive negotiating agreement where the city and HCL began discussions regarding this property. Within that ENA, the agreement, the council requested that after about 6 months, there be a verbal presentation at the council meeting to talk about the progress. Some of the things that have been going on behind the scenes related to staff have been cleaning up some of the easements that have been out there. There was so many roads and utilities and so forth, and we're about halfway through that process, working with the utilities. It's been laborious, but we have been discussing with HCL a number of options relating to what they may want to look to construct there. An appraisal has been conducted that we can evaluate as we go through the negotiations. But probably a good time to invite, is it Don, that would, whether you have any questions, Don, or a presentation? Don Kelly represents this LLC and somebody that's familiar to the council. But certainly there may be some questions of me or Mr. Kelly, but he's here and available. Maybe you want to say a few words to start.
Hello, I'm the President and Chief Financial Officer of the Hagen Company. And Brian covered a lot of what's transpired here over the first 6 months. In addition to the appraisal that we had done, Brian requested that we have a peer review conducted of the previous appraisal that was done in 2023, which has been done. The valuation that we had on the property makes two significant assumptions, and Brian has touched on one of them, which is the easements. There were approximately 31 easements on the property that basically impede any development, and the easements need to be removed. The city hired an engineering firm, I believe NV5, with the task of removing the easements, and we haven't looked in a while, but the last time we checked, 13 of the existing 31 had been removed, and the rest are in process. Most of these easements appear to be with either the gas company or IID, so it's just a matter of going through the process and dealing with it. The other thing that's come up, and we just sent the fee estimate to Brian literally on Monday, is some questions on a previous environmental review that was done in 2021 for the city by Earth Systems. Our consultant has brought up some concerns that, basically, long story short, the work that they did in 2021 answered some questions, but it also raised some questions that will need to get resolved ultimately before we would continue to actually negotiate to acquire the property. It potentially is nothing, but it just needs to be looked at. So other than that, once we get past the environmental contingency, then we're ready to sit down and start negotiating a deal, drafting the DDA. We're very excited about the property. Obviously, as the owners of the mall, these properties are going to be very synergistic. And the mall has taken us a lot longer to do than we wanted. Come this February, we will have owned that property 8 years. And we've had two significant attempts at trying to develop it over those 8 years in two different ways. But everyone knows since 2018 to now, we've gone through a lot of economic turmoil, political turmoil, a little thing called a pandemic. There were a lot of things that kind of complicated it. But our company's been in Indio since the middle 80s. And Mr. Hagen is very committed to this community. It's important, we look at the history of the mall and the history of Noble's Ranch, and the mall basically has been a blighted property for at least 20 years. And Noble's Ranch started getting emptied out in the late 80s, so it's like 40 years. And it's important to Mr. Hagen. He wants to give something else to the community. We want to deal with this. We're capable of dealing with it. It's our business. A lot of people just think we own a polo club, which we do. And it's a very nice-looking polo club, and that's why you can rest assured that we know how to build nice-looking properties, and we're going to do something with this thing. But it's been a heavy lift. It's been the economy. It's been a lot of things like that. It's been challenging to attract retail to that particular site, but we're now getting some traction. We are one permit away from being able to start constructing 2 buildings along Highway 111, and we have 3 additional buildings along 111 that once our Senior Vice President of Leasing is here tonight. Once he pins down a couple of particular tenants, then we'll get starting on that too. The first 2 buildings that I'm mentioning that we would like to start in January, once we finish that, our final remaining tenant that's in the mall will be relocated into one of those buildings, and then we're going to demolish the mall. At this point, I'm only speaking of the interior mall itself. We are, at this point, still going to keep the former Gottschalk's and Sears buildings. We think we can do something with them. If not, we'll demolish them later, but there's still some interest in that. So, but it's taken us longer than we wanted. Trust me, we're not sitting on our hands, and we have millions invested in the property, so we do need the process to get going. And finally, we are getting some traction on the mall. Now, Noble's Ranch is going to be a nice add-in to it, and I think what ultimately gets developed there, the mall's going to help that property, and that property is going to help the mall. So we remain very committed to it. And that's where we are right now after 6 months, so a lot has happened.
Thank you for the report. Any questions, council?
I have a question. As far as the idea or plans for what you want to do, where are you at in the planning phase, or renderings, or ideas, or tenants? I think the community is interested in hearing what's the vision. Most of the folks in here don't know what easements are, but you spelled it out that those are getting taken care of, right?
Yeah.
I know we have some challenges with power infrastructure. We are working with IAD to get those done, so we're seeing progress in that area.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as from 111, you talked about some properties, where are those properties located, and, you know, in respects to what we already have now. And also, you know, you talk about the demoing part of the mall. I think that's a great idea, but what are some of the ideas to put there? You know, open green space, housing, more retail, gym, faith-based church, something. I mean, what do you guys see? What the vision is there?
I would almost say yes to a lot of that stuff. We're chasing the tenants now. We're at a point where Greg will be able to make an announcement on probably 2 of the buildings for 111. We are negotiating leases now for 2 of the 3 buildings. The section I'm referring to would be the portion of Highway 111 that starts at the Harbor Freight and runs east all the way to Rubidoux. They would be all along there. So, you know, we can't announce tenants until we have them. We do not have our anchor tenants yet, and it's like we keep trying. Let's just start taking bites out of the elephant. Let's get the Highway 111 stuff done. That's easier. We're getting much traction on that. And while we're doing that, there are some major people that we're talking to. And the retail business is kind of like they all want to come at the same time, but nobody wants to come unless someone else is there. And so we're kind of dealing with that, and Greg's a master at tempting them with that and showing them merchandising plans. People have probably seen a lot of plans on our website, which are conceptual in nature. And when we put those out there, it's like, this is not what's going to happen, but this is one thing that we're thinking of. And the way that we sell the properties is we have to put our thoughts on the paper and present stuff, even though this plan will probably never be seen by anyone, and God, what a stupid idea, what were we thinking of at the time? But we created a particular plan because we were going after a particular person. So there are a lot of conceptual plans out there. I can't answer your question right now on Noble's Ranch because we want to get by the environmental thing. To do those plans and everything, that's architects and civil engineers. And before we start making that investment, we want to make sure, hey, the site is good, everything's good to go, let's negotiate our deal. And in the meantime, because part of that deal, we do have to do all that work. We will have to come to you to get approval for entitlements before we can close on the DDA. It's not just sell us the land and then we're going to come to you later, and by the way, this is what we have in mind. No, it is all one package, so we will get going on that, but we're just not there yet. We get past this final contingency, then we'll start working on that seriously, and yes, you'll all be made very much aware of it. And we're looking forward to announcing our tenants at the mall as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah, I have all the confidence in the work that you all do. We have a long working relationship with Mr. Hagan and the city of Indio. He's part of something that's brought us the biggest music festival in the world. And I'm pretty sure he wants to continue to build on his legacy, and developing this property is part of that. And I know he understands the area and the historical significance of the John Noble's Ranch. So I think it's also important to continue to work with the community that was there. I don't want to have to bring up the story, but a lot of people understand that, and I think it's imperative that the community also works with HCL to see what will be feasible there. And sometimes there's needs, and sometimes there's one. Sometimes we can't get there, but it's always good to listen to the community because there's a lot of compassion and heart that's there.
For sure.
But at the end of the day, my goal is to, and I'm pretty sure the council is, we've been here before, we were close to getting this done, but at the end of the day, we need to get this done, right? And so I don't know what the appraisals are. I haven't seen them. I don't know, where that discussion is at, but when that comes to us, I think we'll cross that bridge and start to move dirt over there, because this needs to get done. It's been too long. There's been generations of people who have come and gone since they've been replaced or relocated out of that area. We've seen generations of people who have come and passed, and it's been over 40 years. When that happened, I was 9 years old. I'll be 46 in a couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
it'd be an honor to vote on something to get this done.
Yeah.
So we're open to work with ACL to see this endeavor complete and do a groundbreaking and ribbon cutting on that property.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're not just some out-of-town developer. We're in this to,
He's been here.
we're gonna build something here that the city's gonna be proud of.
Hagan used to stay across the street, and he used to be at Cactus Jack's. He used to stay at the Royal Plaza Inn when that was one of the oldest hotels in Indio.
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Hagan is very familiar with the area. He used to stay in the area, so I know he has a lot of compassion for that area. But we want to work with your company to get this done.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Gutierrez?
No, it was just my only comment, and I'm gonna kind of piggyback just a little bit on Councilwoman. We just want something nice. I want to see something nice that we can look out and be proud of. That intersection and everything that Councilman Wayman just mentioned is great, but anything less than what is minimum is not good enough for, I think there's been a lot of sacrifice done and a lot of expectations. And so if it's good enough for the communities that Hagan and Company has invested out of the area, then it's good enough for Indio. The concerts are great, but this is something that's 365, literally 365. When businesses are closed, it's still a notable landmark of a area that has a lot of history, and it's one of our major intersections in the city of Indio. So all I'm saying is, it needs to be nice.
Well, we only do nice.
Yeah.
If you go to the intersection of Monroe and 52 and look southwest from there, you see nice, and that's us.
And that's
So,
good, because that's what we need to impress.
Yeah.
Because the residents, some of them are here, this is televised, and this is the time that people need to understand that
Right.
it's a team effort, but it has to be nice.
And again, we're not just the owners, we were just the owners of a polo club out here, but Hagan Company, we develop shopping centers. This is our business. We have a large portfolio of shopping centers, and each one of those centers is very important in those communities, so we get it. And definitely, we
I
get
think
it.
that's the energy that you're representing, needs to
Yeah.
be heard loud and clear.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
And Don, if I could real quick, so to sell the rest of this mall, obviously a highway lens, one thing, and then you're knocked down the middle. But you need that back piece on John Noble's to be able to sell it to the larger tenants that you're talking about, right? It's one whole package?
It gives us an option on that, yes, yeah. Frankly, the Nobles property could go either way. I mean, we're not saying it's gonna be all commercial or all residential. The zoning actually favors residential. If we were just looking at what's the easiest thing to get entitled, it would be residential. But it's all depends on who we can draw there. But residential could be, residential supports retail, and retail loves having residential nearby. So it's like, there's gonna be a synergy there one way or the other.
I think Wayman and that hit on it. There's been, and so does Councilmember Gatron, there's been a lot of heartache over this thing for many years and
Yeah.
doing that. So what we need to make sure, though, is that if you need that piece to move forward while the economy is well, then we need you to work with our staff to get those easements, or maybe you can we can indemnify you on that.
Sure.
So that we can get them knocked out and get that done and out of the way. So if you buy that piece, then you can come back to us, because, you know, there's certain things that we really need, not only just to clean that up. Housing's one thing, but we really need shopping for like men's stores and things. There's
Oh, yeah.
certain things that this community really wants and needs, but it also has to be something that when it gets done and over with, that all this heartache and age is not gonna go away, but at least you can be proud of what gets put in there and know that the
Yeah.
community is gonna use it for shopping and that, for leakage and other stuff. So really, it's gonna be what you put in there and how you put it, just not, I know the quality of product that you've done, because I've seen some of your other shopping malls in Arizona and like Beverly Hills and Downey and that. But it's really what you put in there. Are the residents gonna use it? Is it what they want? And then is it available to be able to bring a tax flow and keep our residents here to be able to shop and have an experience in their own city? So we appreciate that.
Yeah, the only thing I'll echo, Councilmember Furman's suggestions of working with the community and making sure there's a strong communication there as you move along, and keeping, you know, their thoughts in your projects there. That's it. Thanks.
Agreed.
Thank you. Excuse me. Boy, this is sensitive. Sorry about that. You know, this is just, I know it's been in the planning for a long, long time. There's a lot of history, so there's some delicate components of this, but we look forward to seeing all this evolve as quickly as possible. You do put together wonderful and amazing projects. We look forward to working with you, and we look forward to really working with the local community there to give them something that they can be proud of. So thank you very much for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's a receive and file, so no action required. Let's see, what's the next one? Item number
Do you have
4.
any public comments on that or no?
No. I beg your
Yes.
pardon, no, yeah, gosh, I'm a little out of practice, apparently.
Mayor, I believe
I have
there's
14.2
We have
is
one
what I
back
have.
behind you. Bring it up to the city clerk, please.
Okay, please, yes. Yeah. No, I have 14.2 only.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. No disrespect to the Hagen Corporation, but we've heard it all before. We've heard the story. You just heard this man with no plan come up here and give you no plan for that land. Instead, we keep giving them opportunity and opportunity when we could have had something done already. We have people that have a plan. I believe that the community should go back to the people that it was taken from. We've heard all before, and it's all about consumer dreams. But the center of a community, there's a few things that exist there. And in the center of the community is a place of worship. There's a place of helps. There's a place of education. Me and Nico just had a conversation about a private school in Indio that can flourish in Indio. Perfect place for a nice private school, a place of worship, a place of help, and a place to live for the residents that are nearby. I understand the 111 and the mall, they have that, but the city owns the Nobles Ranch area. And I think that if you give it back to us, at least give us an opportunity to buy it back for what you paid, so it's a win-win situation for the community that was there. I believe that you'll be pleased with what could happen. He talking years down the line. Give it back to the people today, and we can have tractors and water and infiltration and working next month. Been waiting 40 years for this land to be something done with it. Nothing has been done with it. He don't even have a plan. I at least gave you a solid plan. At least we can have a place of worship. At least we can have a private school there. At least we can have a place of helps. At least we can put some apartments there that are affordable for people to live. At least that's a plan that's better than, oh, we're going to wait to when? 6 months? He going to come back and tell you the same thing again? This is the same talk that we've been having. However, I think we should give it back to the community. And I know a guy that can lead this thing. And I want to say that Pastor Tony Williams Sr. can lead this charge. He has a proven track record to get things done. The church that he purchased 7 years ago for $1 million, paid it off in 5 years. Paid it off in 5 years. How many churches do we have in Indio that's been able to do that? He paid it off in 5 years. Not him, but the community helped pay that church off in 5 years. Not only that, he's been a proven leader of both men and women, of 40 years of leadership at the Boys and Girls Club. His blood, sweat, and tears equity already in the dirt. We grew up there. His blood is in the dirt. He scraped his knees there. It's going to mean more to a person that's come from Indio, that's been on that land. My dad's blood is in there. Our family's blood is in that dirt. It's going to mean more to us to get this project done. We're going to have the passion that it takes to get this project done. I think that we deserve the opportunity to at least buy it back. At least buy it back. Because if we can buy it back, at least we can distribute it out to the families that it was taken from. Y'all know the story, and Wayman didn't want to bring in the story, but man, the story is horrible, how we were robbed of this land, and we were displaced. And we want an opportunity to have the land back. At least give us an opportunity to buy it back.
We appreciate your comments. Thank you for the sincerity of your comments. Yes, appreciate it very much. Okay, I don't have any additional requests to speak on this item.
Yes.
Okay, come on down.
Gentlemen, beautiful place. Thanks to some of the people like Melody here and some like stupid Alfredo Mesa and a lot of the people more that we thrown. But let's go to some other place. Indio Fetchel Mall. When I bought the property in Indio Fetchel Mall, was an ugly place. I go with the black neighborhood. I redone the store. I worked 25 years with that store. until you guys decided it was gonna be a mall, and you guys burned my business, burned down my business to get me out of there. Like the gentleman say, we did put a lot of work in that thing. It took me 14 years fighting with the city of Indio for me to get paid. They did every dirty thing they can do to me for 15 years. They destroyed my business. I have to put my money to bulldoze the place because they made me bulldoze the place in 30 days, or they were gonna fine me $1,000 a day that I don't take the whole foundations out of that property. And Melody is right here in back of me, so maybe don't let me lie. And I knew that they burned the place because I knew the fire chief, and they never got there to turn the place, to bring the fire department there. They take 30 minutes to get there. They break the windows for the fire to get there, and the whole black neighborhood was watching them. Everybody was my friends, everybody. They used to be with me all the time there. So, you know, we're talking about Indio Fashion Mall, and I believe everything that the city did to it, everything that the city did, not just to everybody who lived there, including me, I was part of the neighborhood, I was family in the neighborhood. I believe actually that they deserve to get a nice price, that they ever gonna get a nice price. But we're not the only people who've been buying the Indio Fashion Mall and say they're gonna develop it. Years ago, I offered Freddie Hall to buy the property. I have a developer to buy the property. But in that time, the city of Indio was too white or too friend with some other people, and they didn't seem to wanted to do that. So when we're talking about the Indio Fashion Mall, 40 years later, and 25 years of my life there, I believe that, like the gentleman said, we deserve to know what's going to happen. And I just asked Melody. 32 years ago, when we signed the deal with the attorneys for the black neighborhood, we signed a piece of paper where we say there wasn't going to be no housing in that property. And I would like to go and research that to find out how true it is. Why it's not there yet, because it was part of the deal. There wasn't no housing in that property. And when one of the owners of the Indio Fashion Mall was going to put apartments in that top of the Indio Fashion Mall, he was going to develop the Indio Fashion Mall and put apartments on top of it. The city manager and the city council in that time stopped him from doing it. So, thank you very much. Have a beautiful rest of the night, and it's beautiful. We gotta keep going. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments on this particular item? I don't have any here noted. Okay.
Good evening, Council. Thank you for this beautiful event. My name's Julie Dill. I'm the chair of the Indio Chamber of Commerce. And I wasn't planning on speaking about this, but I go on business walks and I talk to local businesses frequently. And I was reminded of a story that a former Indio business owner told me a few months ago about the Hagen Company. And this might help you make your decisions about this future of this. He had been in Indio for more than 20 years. He was in the Indio Mall, and he was squeezed pretty hard by the Hagen Company with a lot of shady tactics. It was clear that he was not wanted in the mall. They were trying to make his lease untenable, and he ended up moving to a beautiful location in Indio, and he told me this story. And frankly, I'm just offering this information because as the Indio Chamber of Commerce, we want local businesses to feel welcome in Indio and not have to flee to other cities because of various corporate practices. So I'm happy to give you more information about that business and the conversation we had, but I think it's important for the community of Indio to be as family-friendly and warm and welcoming that all of you are to those of us in this community. So while we certainly respect large corporations coming to Indio, I think it's also equally as important to hear how sometimes those business practices may or may not be representative of the culture of Indio. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, appreciate all the comments. Let's go on to item number 14.2. Request of the City Council send a request to the Department of Homeland Security under the Freedom of Information Act to provide information about any resident of Indio having been taken into custody by the department due to immigration status. Councilmember Ortiz.
Sure. I brought this up a couple of weeks ago. I think it's an important first step in building up some transparency here for our community. I think it's quite unacceptable that right here, the 5 of us leaders of this city cannot find out who has been taken, how many people have been taken from our community, how long are they spending in detention centers, what detention centers are they being sent to, what's the treatment like there. And so I think it's a first step in bringing some of that transparency here. And the reason why I bring this forward is because of those concerns of the reports that we are hearing from detention centers of a lot of inhumane treatment. And so just in these few weeks that I've been going around talking to folks, we heard from 2 different news stations that interviewed me this week that they cannot get any answers back from the federal government. Even when they're using the Freedom of Information Act, which is legally binding a federal response, they're still not hearing back. And so in my research, I have found that cities, when they file it as a city, some cities are hearing information back, which is why I have suggested the tailoring of this request to not include personal information, which is usually not provided, but just be general data on how many people have been taken, what was their immigration status, what were they charged with, how long did they spend in detention centers and where, and what were the outcomes of those cases. I think that'll help us understand what's going on in our community and be ready for the impacts that are happening to our families out here. Just recently I've heard from different families here in the Coachella Valley, residents of the Coachella Valley that have been taken, some of them U.S. citizens. And so I think it is important that we know if U.S. citizens are being detained, illegally in these detention centers. So again, I think this is an important first step. Other stories that I've heard, and we've heard for many years, it's probably 15 years that I've been looking into these issues, cases of Coachella Valley residents spending time in detention where there is extremely cold temperatures. Lights are on 24/7 to prevent them from sleeping, and these are tactics that we understand to be made to get people sick and to pressure them to sign their self-deportation papers. And so these are extremely concerning to me and many of our residents, and that is why I'm making this request to begin that transparency process and hopefully get a better understanding for all of us here on what's going on in our community.
Thank you. Okay, I have a couple of requests to speak that I'll take first, and I apologize for the first one. It looks like, is it Jadine on Jefferson? For this item? No? Okay, I have a couple. You're welcome to bring a request to speak up here. I have a couple of them. Jonathan Becerra that I'll take next. No.
Good evening, Council. Thank you for your time. My name is Jonathan Becerra. I'm a local resident here in the city of Indio. I've also had the honor of being elected to represent some of our local residents on different capacities through Desert Rec Board. Before all that, I had the honor of working 5 years at Safe House of Desert, working with victims of human trafficking, working with law enforcement, including FBI, DEA, and other agencies on the training of rehabilitation for human trafficking victims. So I speak with a lot of passion on this subject matter because when I see the federal government taking the actions it does against certain citizens, including citizens of the United States, it concerns me because these people are vulnerable. And what keeps them vulnerable is the lack of information. So what I commend for my Councilmember Ortiz doing is shedding light on this because that is probably the biggest way you can help these people who are in a very vulnerable state. Not knowing where your family members are, not having the capacity to reach them or know their location is an intensely scary feeling for these people and for their family members. Regardless of their immigration status, they deserve to have their leaders look out for them. These are your most vulnerable residents. Even if they're not citizens, even if regardless of their immigration status, these are your most vulnerable residents. And they're in a very, regardless of what detention center settings they are being treated in, they're in a very vulnerable state right now. And I think it is incumbent upon leadership to do its bare minimum and just ask for some transparency. These are hard things to talk about. These are hard times for this kind of community. But I look at every one of you and I see strength in this community. I see the love you guys have for the city of Indio. And I know that guiding light can't do a wrong, in terms of the outcome, but I really would ask that you just do this FOIA. I think asking for these very basic answers is the minimum we should be asking for, and I think it's what you would be doing right for your community to do so. So I commend you for your time and effort on this, and I would ask that you please go forward in unanimous consent to administer this FOIA. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay. Next person, Jackie Lopez.
Good evening, Mayor. I'm sorry, I'm chicken scratch with my name. Good evening, Mayor Holmes and members of City Council. Jackie Lopez, and I'm here today to speak for my friends and family who cannot be here or who do not feel safe speaking for themselves. I want to begin by recognizing the privilege that I have. Standing here tonight, my grandparents, who worked incredibly hard to deliver a better life for this country and came through the Basera program here in Indio. And because of their sacrifices, my family, we have 5 generations here living in Indio. Their journey has given me safety and stability to speak openly in this chamber, and I don't take that for granted. Because of this privilege, I also feel responsibility as a resident to look after my neighbors. The staff report confirms that Indio residents have been taken into custody by the Department of Homeland Security because of immigration status. But many of our families are afraid, and again, some don't feel comfortable coming forward. We're the largest city in the Coachella Valley. What we do here today sets the tone for the rest of the region. Thousands of people from surrounding cities work here, shop here, and depend on services here. When our city chooses transparency and accountability and compassion, it sends a message that stability and trust matter, not just for Indio residents, but for the entire Coachella Valley. The Freedom of Information Act request is simply a request for transparency. It does not reveal personal information. The Freedom of Information Act gives the city those facts so it can understand the full picture and respond with clarity and compassion. Other cities have done this responsibly, and Indio deserves the same level of understanding. Supporting this request shows that our city and values every resident, including those who cannot speak for themselves. Thank you, Mayor Holmes and council members, for your time and for considering this request.
Thank you very much. Okay, going forward, if I may request, please, no clapping, just for the decorum of the council chambers, please. The next person to speak on this issue is Luz Gallegos.
Hello, Honorable Madam Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. My name is Luz Gallegos with DODIC. We are a nonprofit organization here serving farm workers and immigrants in the Coachella Valley. I am here in full support for this agenda item. I want to first thank Council Member Oscar Ortiz for being on the ground and for really listening to our community and taking a real pulse of what's really happening in our region. I am here to ask for a vote of transparency, a vote of consciences for all City of Indio residents and stakeholders. Through our grassroots work and what we see firsthand daily is a trauma, fear, and impact during these uncertain times, not only for vulnerable families, but for our local businesses and our local economy. We truly believe that information is power, and data guides us to plan ahead and make concise decisions, not only for our city, its residents, but for our businesses, our schools, and any local stakeholder. Indio is home to our local Border Patrol office. Almost 6 months ago, we saw the largest federal operation in history in the Coachella Valley, according to news outlets, with over 500 federal agents in our streets. Over a month ago, we saw a U.S. citizen tackled by ICE agents in our parking lot of Indio's Walmart shopping center. This is only one of the stories we have permission to share of thousands of stories we have documented. To end this story, I want to share a story of a family, our local family, that has allowed me to share their story. This particular family lived here over 20 years. This particular man was a farm worker. Due to the trauma and fear and the economic uncertainty, this man took his life. His younger son found him hanged in a palm tree behind his trailer. This is just one of the stories of the trauma and fear that these operations continue to impact the well-being of our families. But most importantly, I do want to share that every resident counts. As all residents pay taxes, contribute to our culture and our local economy. I want to highlight some of the words that the pastor mentioned in his invocation. You are all the stewards of our city, a city where we find that we want to make sure that all residents have safety, and it's a safe place for all. I ask for your support in this, as it will bring transparency and consciousness to our city. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. Council?
Mayor, if I may, I do have another card for this item,
Okay.
Al Mesa.
Oh, okay. No?
No, not anymore, okay. Never mind.
All right. Okay, certainly some heartfelt comments there. It's very difficult to hear. I'd like to see what my fellow council members have to, what they think on this particular subject.
I think we have some more comments back there.
Okay,
If you have comments, can you please
bring up a request to speak?
bring up the request? Yes.
I was going to say, yeah. And just remember, we have a 3-minute limit for public comments, please.
Good evening, Council. My name's Alice Moran. I'm a resident of Sun City Shadow Hills. So I've only been in Indio for about 4 years, but I'm already loving the community. And I just want to speak on behalf of the Democratic Club in Sun City Shadow Hills that we are here in total support of this initiative, the 14.2, and we hope that you'll take it under consideration because we've all heard the stories, and particularly this evening, some very heartfelt, painful stories, and we just think that this is the next step that needs to be taken. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is there any other that wish to speak on this topic? That has filled out a request to speak form? Come on down and please fill out a form. What, you've got somebody, hang on, Al, you've got somebody that come on up.
Get on deck.
But I do need everyone to fill out a request to speak.
Please interpret. ¿Usted intérprete?
Yo no soy certificada, ¿le puedo ayudar?
Sí.
Vaya despacio y
Okay.
cerquitas del micrófono para que pueda escuchar.
Perfecto, está bien.
Voy a darle el tiempo para que usted diga su mensaje. Tiene 3 minutos.
Perfecto.
Y después, cuando usted acabe, yo voy a decir lo que usted diga.
Ok, perfecto.
Gracias.
Buenas tardes, gracias por el tiempo que me están dando. Mi nombre es José Garduño, residente de Indio por 40 años. La razón que estoy aquí es por cuestión de que la ciudad de Indio, hermosa, pero nuestra gente merece respeto. Principalmente ahorita en esta época que tenemos de migración, estamos mirando que la policía de Indio y migración están en el parqueadero de Indio Fashion Mall platicando, y nuestra gente de la ciudad de Indio merece respeto, ¿sí? En el 2017 logramos de que la policía no estuviera con el federal, y asimismo ahorita en estos tiempos, con la situación que estamos teniendo, tenemos la necesidad de decirles por favor de que cuiden de eso, de que nuestra gente no nos mande decir de que migración y la policía están juntos. El federal es una cosa y el estatal es otra cosa, ¿sí? Nuestra gente merece respeto. No es la primera vez que nos lo dicen. Mi nombre es José Garduño, del Comité Latino. Tenemos desde el 2002 luchando contra las injusticias de los emigrantes. Y asimismo por eso estoy dando mi cara a la ciudad de Indio, porque merecemos respeto. Gracias por su tiempo.
Very much.
And now I will translate for him.
Thank you.
I do. Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for your time. My name is Jose Garduño, resident of Indio for 40 years. The reason I'm here is because of the beautiful city of Indio, but our people deserve respect, especially right now in this immigration time. We're seeing that Indio police and immigration officials are in the parking lot of Indio facilities. We managed to keep the police away from, sorry, that was nothing. With the federal police and also right now with the situation we are having, we need to tell you to please take care of that so that our people feel safe. If our people deserve respect, it's not the first time we've been told that. My name is Jose Garduño from Latino Committee. We have been fighting against the injustices faced by immigrants since 2002, and that is why I am showing my face to the city of Indio, because we deserve respect. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Okay. Mr. Meza.
I wasn't going to say much, but yesterday I was going to go and eat in Burger Box. I passed through the Bird Street neighborhood. You got 3 federal cars right in the entrance to the neighborhood, and then you got 3 federal cars close to Apple Market. Apple Market is one of the business that does a lot of business, yes, like I used to with the Mexican community, and the people cash their checks there and everything else. Kind of upset me, and I feel like getting down and getting a fight. I was going to get in a fight with them, but my wife said, no, you don't. They send you to Mexico. I said, well, it's nothing. I may be enjoyable. I get an enjoyable vacation. But anyway, so you know, I didn't know that the Indio PD was meeting with them, and I hope not, because we, the taxpayers, pay for the police department in Indio, and I think we deserve all kinds of respect for the money that we pay in taxes, because we're the ones who support the police and the city of Indio. So I hope that's not true. I hope that we're not talking, because we don't say nothing to do with the federal government, especially with the way they're treating people. It's not only people that have papers, include U.S. citizens, veterans. And I happen to be a veteran, and I figure that is a real shitty deal that you serve the country to come and put with this kind of bullshit. Because I guess we got a lot of veterans here that feel the same way, the way than me. Because most of the wars was fought by the poor little guys, poor little Mexicans that they put in the front. And somebody maybe don't like what I say, but it's true. I was there. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak at this point? Okay. All right. Council, a lot of challenges here. Anybody whose heart doesn't go out to these people certainly is a challenge. What do you feel? How do you want to consider this?
I have some comments on the mayor. Is this a administrative item or this a administrative? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just think as elected officials, we represent everyone who calls Indio home, from the homeless man on the corner to the working family that has to make rent, to the business owner that has a dream, and even the undocumented individuals who contribute daily to the life and economy of our city. Many students are afraid to leave their homes. Many are essential workers in restaurants, construction, agriculture, and service industries. When any part of our community is living in fear, the entire city suffers consequences. That's why I think it's important for the council to obtain clear, factual information from the federal government regarding individuals who have been detained or deported from the city of Indio. Local government cannot operate in dark. We need transparency from our federal government to understand how these actions are affecting public safety, schools, businesses, families, and overall trust of the people in our city. This is about good governance and knowing what happens in our own backyard so we could respond appropriately, protect civil rights, and also ensure every resident feels represented and respected in our community. So requesting the information is not about politics. It's not about going against laws. It's not about putting our police department in crosshairs. It's about good governance. It's about protecting our residents, all of them, and ensuring Indio remains a community where families feel safe and businesses can thrive, and our future is built on dignity. I think we owe it to the people we serve. Indio remains a place where we have to be fair, safe, and provide opportunities for everyone that comes to our city. There are a lot of reasons why this council needs this information. One is to ensure accountability and oversight for federal actions in our city. It helps maintain public safety by preventing fear that reduces cooperation with police. We heard about it now. Our police doesn't work with federal agencies, but our police job is to maintain public safety here in our city. It allows the city to prepare for humanitarian and family disruptions if need be. It supports data-driven policymaking based on facts, not assumptions. It protects civil rights and prevents potential profiling and overreach. It provides transparency to residents in our community. It also builds trust with those vulnerable communities. This issue that we're dealing with causes a lot of issues, and we need to make right what things the council can. I've heard it from students who are afraid to leave their homes. I've heard it from our own business owners who, in a way, supported this initially, who say their employees are not coming to work. So there's a fear that we have. So this is not going to be a burden on our taxpayers. It's not going to be a burden on staff. This is simply an email that could be scheduled once a month by our city attorney, sent to the federal government requesting this aggregate information, nothing personal. And this is just the beginning. You don't have to support what's happening. You don't have to like what's happening. But as American citizens, we do have rights. And so that completes my comments, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It is a difficult subject, but it's outside our jurisdiction. I understand the thoughts and philosophy behind it. Our obligation is to protect the residents of the city of Indio and our businesses. But at the same time, you can get on ice.gov and get the information. The information that we're going to get, what are we going to do with it? I mean, it doesn't give you any personal information. It doesn't tell you what they've done. It just tells you that they've been brought out. It's not going to bring people back into the community to feel any safer. Our police department is the ones that make us feel safe. We have no jurisdiction over the federal government. And what we do with the information, so if we have 30 people that have been deported, how do we know that they're not a reason to be deported and they're not all Hispanic? I'm just saying that it's outside of our lane, and where do we stop? If we don't like something the state's doing, do we get involved and ask the state? It's not our jurisdiction. Our obligation is to the residents of the city of Indio, and to make sure that we have the protection under our guidance and what is under our ability to do something. I agree with you that it's a terrible situation, but what do you do if they tell you that 40 people have been deported?
None of us know how many people have been deported. How many can you guess? You have no idea, and you're the leader of our city.
And you don't know how many have been either, and you've been sending out letters.
That's the problem.
But there's no obligation for them to actually give it to us. Look, you have the same right, just like you got on television and talked about this situation without discussing with any of us, which is fine. That's your right. You also have the right to use the city's letterhead and send them an email with the city logo and everything on it as Oscar Ortiz as our council member, with council member for Mayor Pro Tem, Furman, and get the same information. You can ask for that same information. It doesn't have to be the city that has no jurisdiction over it.
Which one's more likely to get answered?
Anyway, the council member, I'm just going to jump in because I completely, my heart breaks with all these stories, and there's so many of these stories, and we are a community that is inclusive, but frankly, I'm of the opinion, I just sort of jumped in the middle here, to think that each of us as council members, as strong political individuals, will get the answer. I hesitate.
Do you have one example?
Do you?
I have an example of cities that have gotten responses. I don't have any example of any individual who has gotten a response.
I think that's a direction that we need to try. I hesitate to get the city involved with this at
Mr.
this
Furman,
point.
How long ago have you filed yours?
3 weeks ago. and no response. But, you know, a comment was made that we represent the residents of the city of Indio. I wonder who built some of those messengers out there and who's taking care of these golf courses, who's working in our casinos. Some of those people probably have been deported by now. I know some of those people who are in our military who have been deported. I know because I've worked with some of them. I work in a state prison. And so I know that. So it's not a lift, it's not the city saying we're going against the federal government. This is the city saying we want to work with the federal government so we can ensure and we know how to respond if a family needs assistance, if we need to provide security for a situation in an area that we can't tell the federal government that he can't come in our city. But if the federal government is doing something in our city, we need to be able to respond accordingly. And we need to be able to respond to the families. We're not saying that we're going to go against the government. It's requesting information of what you're doing in our city. Just like we had a sit down with the Border Patrol. We sat down with them. They were open as much as they could be, but they have an obligation to provide this information. That's why it's called Freedom of Information Act.
And since you met with them, what was your response from them to come back to you to give you the information? Considering you were standing in front of them, did you tell them that they had the obligation to give that to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and what did they say?
This is what they suggested. File a FOIA request on behalf of the city. And I asked, which one do you think is more likely to get answered? An individual one or on behalf of the city? He said, on behalf of the city.
Appreciate
That's coming from federal agents and from our local organizers. And one of the things, and again, we don't know if 10 people have been taken or 200. We have no idea. It's important for us to know what's going on in our community so that we can prepare and take actions here, because we do have control over what we do in our city. And then we also, I met with students from the College of the Desert that are studying political science, that are studying public policy, that want to understand what's going on. And they are shut off, just like we are, of any information that can help them understand what is happening today in our community with this immigration enforcement.
And what action would you take once you got the information? If
thank
we're
you.
not going to get engaged in doing something against the federal government or worried about, what action are you going to take and who's
What
going to
do we
take the
do with
action?
it?
We can't get our
Right.
staff involved in this.
Right.
So who takes the action?
And
How about giving that
action do we take?
information and saying, hey guys, it's actually 200 people that have been taken. And they can gauge how much work is needed to gather information on how much human rights violations have been committed against Indio residents. Because if let's say a group of students is getting ready to take on that project and saying, hey, we need to document human rights violations against residents here in our city, how do they gear up if they don't know if there's 20 people that they're looking for, or is it 300 people that they're looking for? It's important information. And when somebody goes to jail in our community, we see it right away. We know their name, we know their age, we know everything, that this person has been taken to jail and this is where they are. I can see them right here. Right now, we don't know how many of our residents are missing. I think that's important. I don't see how it's not important. And also their immigration status. How many of them were legal residents? How many of them were on work permits? How many of them are US citizens? I think it's very basic information that we need to know as leaders of this community, and that should also be available to the public.
And it also allows us to work with our partners, our nonprofits, because they're the ones doing the work. And but our school district even has a response plan, right? Because their students are being affected, and it allows them to work with the nonprofits. So I just want to reiterate, we're not trying to go against the federal government. We're asking a request for numbers so we know how to respond. If our partners, when we do our budget, say, you know what, we need more funding for X, Y, and Z. Well, we got it on paper that they're being affected. Our businesses are being affected. They are. But I would open it up. Mr. Catron, maybe you have some thoughts.
Oh, yeah, I do. I just wanted to hear your seniors, because I'm still the junior.
Oh.
I just cleared 1 year. And so it is a serious issue. This government of the city of Indio will not be able to solve it. I'm just going to tell you that. We're not going to solve it. And when we get the data, I need to understand how we're going to distribute it and how we're going to handle that. But I've yet to know that, because I don't know how we're going to handle it. I appreciate Councilman Ortiz and his efforts, because I was wondering that you made a statement, and I say this respectfully, it's not to be derogatory, because you're the one that said, hey, I made a request. Who do we complain because you don't have a request? Because under the Public Information Act in the state of California, if in 10 days we don't give you a reason, then we're in trouble because we're supposed to give you a status. If the federal government's not doing that, then what I did, as I mentioned in the last council meeting, I spoke to both Congress representatives in their office, and I didn't get any help from either of them. I'm not going to get into what political side they are. I think everybody understands what represents this Coachella Valley. And I got one that says, and then the other one is referred me to exactly what Comité Latino just mentioned, because that's the organization I've been working with for the last 40 years in my prior livelihood. I understand it deeply because besides my skin color, I come from a Mexican family that were also migrants and had seen a lot. And to say that this is the only culture that was affected, well, let's figure out many other cultures in the last 100 years in the Coachella Valley. If we get to that part, it's not pretty. The thing that I want is I want something guaranteed that we answer, because when I speak to the Mexican consulate, because believe me, I have a very strong relationship from the last consulates that have been there to the current one. You know what they tell me? The worst thing that we hate, again, it's only one because there's many other cultures, is that things come up on board and it's false. And it really hurts our community when we're representing the residents that are here that are from Mexico. That we come up with programs and they say, hey, what about this? What happened? But there's nothing we can do. If we're going to do something, I want to know that there's an answer that we can get back to the public guaranteed. Now, Councilman Ortiz has mentioned to me it's a paper trail. Okay, well, if we're going to do a paper trail, that means we're going to hold somebody accountable. Because that's my business that I did for 40 years. We did a paper trail to cover ourselves. If they're not responding, my deal is this. We're going to try it 6 months, but there's no way I'm going to have a city attorney who's not an elected official representing this body. The body is elected by the people, and the people are asking for some help. So if we're going to do it, then that means an elected official is going to sign it on behalf of the council, not a city attorney, not a city manager, and definitely not the city police department, because they are here. You're bothered that they meet with other law enforcement? That is part of the culture. They can meet and talk with whoever they want. I've been in several operations in dealing with fugitives and people that are doing bad things that come from other countries. I'm not just saying not one. But even the cultures that are here don't want them because they give everybody a bad representation of what the culture is here for. I want to have accountability so we can deal with it. If we're going to do a paper trail, then it has to be an elected official that signs it.
This sounds great.
Let's see. No, I'm just making my statement. Yeah. That's it. If we can't hold ourselves back to it, then let's give it 6 months and see where it goes. But I'm telling you, if in 6 months we're not getting a response, then I don't feel that we need to, not saying that we're wasting our time, then we redirect our energy to the people that are allowing that to happen. But I'm not going to pick a side. This isn't who's the favorite. Because I see a body that's divided and you're looking at me.
It's the democratic process. That's
well, you know, I understand that, but I'm looking at the human process with all due respect.
You know what? We're not. That's the beautiful thing about this process.
There's nothing beautiful because there's a problem right now.
It is beautiful because we're not always going to agree on everything. That's the beautiful thing about.
I don't want to agree on anything. I want to help my people.
Well, you can, and you are helping them. And if we don't agree on this tonight, that's okay. We'll move forward, but that's not going to stop the efforts that we've already got in motion.
I don't think anybody wants to stop.
I'm not saying about stopping
We
the
don't
efforts.
want to stop the efforts at all, and by any stretch of any imagination. It's just the direction that we want to go in, which is to say that any of us and each of us, and that we should write the letters to FOIA and so on and so forth, and that we should be the ones that are responsible for it, not staff.
But I mean, with all due respect, Councilman, I'm not saying that. And when people tell me, well, it's just politics, that really offends me because it's about here.
Well, it's not just politics.
It's about
this
here.
Is part of the democratic process. If we don't agree on a topic, that's okay. That's what we're here for. That's why we bring things to the dais. If we don't agree on this and it doesn't move forward, that's what this body decided. That's okay. But we'll still do what we do and we'll report back to the council or to the community the efforts that we're doing.
My response is based on the response of how our public is responding, what they're needing. Mm-hmm. That's why the compassion's there, and I'm sorry that I'm not understood correctly, but again, I'm the rookie here, right? So I'm responding back, well, because I want a process that helps this community move forward. Because this is not the only issue that we have, but it's important to us because of our population that we represent. What I'm saying is, I'm trying to, remember, I've been a part of peacemaking. I don't try to pick sides. I pick the human being. And that's what I'm picking right now. With all respects, Councilman. That's it.
It's all respect taken, but I'm just saying that this is part of the process. We can agree to disagree on the topic. That's okay. And that's why we vote on these things. And like I said, if the vote is not there to move forward with that, then the vote is not there, or it is there. Nonetheless, this body still has obligation to serve the people, and that's what we're doing.
And
that's
you know,
what
Mr. Witron, I would ask you, can we agree that the quickest and most likely way to get a response is to file this on behalf of the city? That's what's most likely to get us the data that we're looking for right now.
Well, I think we can come to that conclusion if we make a recommendation, and then we can use the democratic process to make that decision. So,
But I guess I'm asking, is there any other quicker, more efficient way of us, or more sure way to get a response right now?
And that's my point. 3 weeks ago, I asked staff if they would look into it and come back to a report. And I asked the last time, and they didn't have time. So I'll ask again, do we have a report?
Report specific to what?
Well, there was comments made with respect with Councilman Ortiz. He made references to other communities, and I said, can you look into it, see what they're doing?
Yes, and the only one I found is in the packets. It was Santa Ana. I didn't see where there was a response, but I provided that letter. It's 3 or 4 pages. It provides the detail that's been discussed. Doesn't ask for personal information, but it was more of a general, who was taken, how many were taken rather, where they're at, what were their crimes that they were suspected of. Of course, we're not sure whether some of them were criminals or not, right? But that's what's in the packet.
In your opinion, was it something that would work?
I choose not to opine. As a purist city manager, we're clearly outside of the lane of local government. So I appreciate the question and the ask. My professional opinion is that we focus on things within which we have jurisdiction. It's not illegal for you to direct us to provide that letter or for you to write the letter, but my recommendation is that we stay within the lane of local government, stay within the lane of state government, and the federal government stay within the lane of federal government. So since you asked, I provide my opinion.
Counselor, what do you think?
I don't know the answer to your question because there's a sample size of 1. I was able to go through the public document room on the federal government's website to look to see if there were other publicly available responses. I wasn't able to find them. So if you're asking me what's more likely to get a response, I don't know. The only thing I've heard is the conversations that the council members have had with federal agents, but I wasn't there. In terms of your question on whether it's appropriate or not, that's a policy question for the council. If the council directs me to draft a FOIA request, I can have a FOIA request sent out tomorrow. But the wisdom of sending out that request is up to you and your colleagues.
So I'll make a recommendation to consider one of the follow options. Direct the city attorney to make the FOIA request for information to come to the city council, or B, direct the city attorney to prepare a FOIA request on behalf of one or more council members, or C, not make any formal request on this matter. So I'll make a request for option A, direct the city attorney to make a FOIA request for information to come to the city council.
On behalf of the city council.
On behalf of the city council.
I'll second that.
do we want to do
roll call?
Are you open for
Roll
a
call.
recommendation on this?
what?
Sorry, what's
Or
that?
comment? Okay, we're gonna have
Absolutely.
comments.
Well, we're sort of in the voting. Are we allowed to do
Mayor?
don't we need to take the voting first, city
Well,
attorney?
usually
before we
there's a
have the
discussion
comments?
when there's a
After?
first and a second. That's what I was asking.
Okay.
So the first and the second, with permission, is that would be issued by a member of this body.
On behalf of the council. So this would be the council as a whole is requesting this information from the federal government.
For 6 months to see how we're doing.
And I think my request would be to make that request for the year 2025. How many people have been taken, what was their status, all that for the year of 2025. Next year, begin those requests monthly so that we have incoming data as we go.
So one for 2025, and then for 6 months to see how we're doing.
6 months, a monthly request.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that would take us into July.
He's signing it on behalf of himself or behalf of the city council?
On behalf of the city council.
I think smart thing to do is request for past, the past year. I think moving forward, we could revisit that because it might be successful or might not be. Nonetheless, we could see what happened in 2025. We could look at trends. We could look at how it might affect our economy, how it's affecting our schools, how it's affecting employment and development. And then it may not be needed to proceed, or it might be something that is delegated down to an individual council member. But I think the initial should be requested on this past 2025 and then move from there.
You have a
You'd have
motion
to
and a
second
second?
that modification.
I'll second that.
Okay, so for clarity, could you re-clarify that, please?
To request the information for 2025.
Yes, sir.
Right, and
Behalf of the
then,
city
yeah,
council.
on behalf of the city council, we may not proceed after this. We don't know, but we need to come back and look at it, make that information available to the public. We have a lot of different information, things that are on our website that are available to the public right now. This could be another one. This could be another tab. We have resources all over our valley, our partners. I spoke about CVAG. That's one of our partners. We have links to our pages. It could be put on there. People have questions. They could go on there. And this could go deeper as well. But I think that's a start to showing our vulnerable communities that we do represent them as well. And it's not going against the federal government. It's just providing information. I know I got into
I
it,
don't think
but
any of
that's
us
what-
are wanting to go
that's
against
what
the federal
I
government.
requested 2025.
Okay, so 2025, and the request is for us to ask staff to write that letter on behalf of the Indio City Council, the entire city council. So I got a first and I got a second.
Mayor, I want to clarify, the motion was for the city attorney to send this letter on behalf of the council.
That's currently what the first and the second
Wait,
is.
but, so if you're saying that you would send it on behalf of the city council, who is signing that?
That is
That's
the
the
question that I
question.
would really like
Right.
clarification
So that
on.
question-
Perhaps the motion maker could make that clarification.
No, I think if this passes or doesn't pass, it should be the mayor who represents this body, who's the leader of this body, who signs that document.
I think we all need to sign it. I have a
We'll all
motion
sign it.
and
I'm okay with that.
and a second here. Do we want to take a roll call vote?
Quick roll call, okay. Councilmember Miller,
Nay.
Councilmember Huitron,
Yeah.
Councilmember Ortiz,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Furman.
Aye.
And Mayor Holmes.
No.
Passes.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for the conversation. And the next item on the agenda is item number 15, public hearings, 15.1, urgency ordinance 1828 for a 45-day interim gas station moratorium. Mr. Halverson.
Yes, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council, as we put up a presentation here, we have been directed by the council to put together a draft ordinance on a moratorium for gas stations, a 45-day emergency ordinance. And just really quickly going back to what's kind of unveiled over the last 6 to 8 months is there was a gas station back in February that was denied by the Planning Commission. An appeal was filed, and then that was overturned. That project, that gas station project, was approved by the council. After that approval, the council wanted the Planning Commission to study this issue, this item, which they did. And recently, at the November 19th, 2025 City Council meeting, the council directed us to put together a draft moratorium. Tonight, just a couple things to note, requires a 4/5 vote in order for the moratorium on gas stations to be approved. In regards to the moratorium, applications will not be affected by this ordinance, would include pending and approved and entitled applications. Oops, and now that I have control of this, I can put this slide up. That would be actually 6 in total. And if I show you the map, I know we've seen this map several times over several meetings. You can see all the gas stations laid out in the city. You can see the ones that are approved. You can see the ones that are open, and then there's one that's pending as well. So as it's drafted, the ones that are pending and the ones that are approved but they haven't been built, this ordinance would not affect those. And that's shown on page 8. It actually outlines or describes those applications, 6 in total. Also, if there's gas stations that want to do minor repairs, maintenance, interior tenant improvements to existing gas stations, those would be exempt as well. Of course, if a gas station wanted to intensify, add more pumps and things like that, then that would not be exempt. So just going over a few things that we've talked about in the past is the 45-day moratorium period is basically a pause. We've talked a lot about, the council's talked about pausing in order to allow time to study this particular topic on gas stations. And so there's a few options tonight that we wanted to present to the council, including doing a full gas station market study. We don't have staff in-house to do that type of study, so we have to hire a consultant. Funding would be allocated in order to do a full gas station market study. Also, staff could study general plan and Unified Development Code text amendments. So that could include looking at spacing for gas stations. That could include looking at areas of the city that are saturated. So maybe there might be requirements in those areas for no more gas stations, and also include looking at certain geographical areas in the city that may have enough gas stations, and so the council might say no more in these areas. Also, it could include adding additional conditions of approval on new gas stations. That could include landscaping, that could include better architecture. I know there's been a lot of things that have been discussed in order to make gas stations nicer. And then, of course, on the table always, we don't want to forget that there's no action. Maybe tonight, that is something that you guys want to consider. So we are recommending that we're introducing this first reading of Ordinance 1828, this emergency ordinance, for 45 days. Now, I want to just emphasize at the end here that even though it's for 45 days, the first meeting in January has been canceled. So the next meeting, the 45 days would pass before that second meeting. So you would have the ability, and we could bring it back on December 17th to consider a longer or an extended moratorium, up to 10 months, 15 days, as you see on the screen, even up to a year, and then maximum of 22 months, 15 days. I'm going to be very honest, I think that's a very long period of time. That does conclude my short presentation on gas stations. There's been a lot of meetings on this topic, and so, but tonight before the council is the moratorium. I am available to answer any questions about this particular item. Thank you.
This is a public hearing, but does anyone here on council have any questions before I open the public hearing?
If I could.
Please.
Mr. Holverson, so we're looking at a 45-day moratorium, so you're moving it back to the 17th so that it would fall on the next council meeting that we actually have before it expires, because if it expires, then it just goes back to where it was, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So if we approve it, it has to be 4/5. If we let it go past 45 days, and let's say we get ready to do it, it has to be 4/5 again to continue it, the moratorium, the second
That's my
time?
understanding, City Attorney.
That's my understanding as well.
Okay, so what are we going to accomplish in the period of time? Because the idea behind it is a gas station is, I think a lot of us agree that we don't want anything, kind of like we did, I was one of the ones that led on the drugstores, because we had the little drugstore wars. They were putting one on every corner, and the first one that fell was where Kaiser Permanente is today, across from JFK. And as we see now, we're missing 5 of them in strategic locations that provided product and stuff to those individuals. So that was a smart idea to be able to limit those, only because of the aggressiveness of the gas or the drugstores, kind of like the gas stations going in certain locations. But there are certain places in the city that we actually do need them. As we go through, as we expand to Citrus Ranch, if we go down towards 52, we have that area over there, maybe even some along I-10. I hate to limit the market, but unless we're going to have a study that tells us where they come and cannot go, just to keep having a moratorium go on, doesn't make any sense to me in terms of it unless we have an idea and reason behind it. Because if there's a quality gas station that has product in it, that has food to it, let's use the one across from JFK, I won't say which one it is, but at first, JFK didn't want anything there. They didn't want that. And now it has product, it has good food, it's got amenities to them, it's got fruit, produce and stuff that is a benefit to those areas, because there's nothing else there in that area to be able to walk to. So some of these are valuable in terms of being able to provide product, not just gasoline, but other stuff. So if we have that, we put a moratorium on it, are we gonna try and figure out where they're located? Or are we just putting a moratorium on them for the sake of putting a moratorium on it?
Yeah, that is, if I could answer that question, that is something that has been expressed by both Planning Commission and City Council, that it would give us some time to study it. Staff has done some preliminary research, but actually do a study that could either be through a consultant or different measures. There are already cities in the valley that have put restrictions on gas stations. It hasn't been very, extensive, but for example, I think I've mentioned in past meetings, sometimes limiting the number of stations at intersections, limiting gas stations that are sensitive uses, for example, residential uses, and then also simple things like spacing. So these are things that, we could go in and do code amendments. We can even possibly, if the council wanted to, amend the general plan for a policy on gas stations. But there are different options out there. If there's areas that you feel are saturated, looking at this map, might be a few areas.
I agree with you on that part, but what I'm saying is, is 45 days gonna be enough time to be able to come back with some kind of viable study or recommendation? Say it, it's not a full-on study, but do you have something like spacing or stuff? Will it be something you're gonna bring it back, or are we just doing 45 days and we're gonna just move it again, do you think? Or is that enough time frame for you?
No, I'll look at you very honestly and say 45 days is not enough time.
Especially not over the holidays.
We need a little more time. Obviously, when we come back, if you want us to come back, we could go over some of the things that could be options for code amendments, because we didn't get into the specifics. So we could do that, but yeah, we definitely need more time.
Okay.
So if we do the 45-day moratorium, what that does is it kicks things into action now, but then you've got holidays, so it comes back on the 17th, and we can decide the length thereafter based on additional comments from staff as to what level of analysis.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page, and all the other ones will be able to move forward, so we know where we're sitting on this thing, so we're not just, the public thinks that we're going to stop it, but really it looks like it's going to be more than 45 days if you're really talking about opportunities for you to be able to really dig down and do it. So, got it.
Okay. Any other comments?
No, but
Council member.
my thoughts are the same. I mentioned to someone that approached me about what I thought. I don't want to see too many gas stations in any particular area over-concentrated, but then there's areas that we need. I would like to know, where could we see them where they would function well, where they would not interrupt the quality of life for residents? In other words, there was discussion, where there would be near homes or at the back of homes in the perimeter of that neighborhood or area that we don't want to have that type of traffic, where they look out in their back patio and they see semi-trucks and cars and campers and whatnot. So I'd like to know that. And then we have areas that we're having a lot of high hopes. And if we have a lot of auto-related services in that area, it's not going to attract the type, because that's one thing about our city. It's laid out so big that there's areas that we can really make it special, like we're doing downtown. We have Northgate, we have the Highway 111 corridor. Everything that we discussed in our strategic plan should be incorporated, because we used to have thrift stores on every corner. And one time we had bars at every corner, not the type of bars we have now. And churches I welcome. I think we need more, because we need more help and prayer. But there's other things that we need to just concentrate. I don't believe 45 days is going to be long enough. I feel it's going to come back, but that's yet to be seen. So, Mayor.
And I think the type of and nature of analysis as well. You can sort of look at the core, and you can visually see that there possibly can be a saturation point. But I'd like to have more information on what it looks like. Certainly the areas beyond that have the opportunity for additional gas stations perhaps. But I think it's easier to make a decision when we have a little bit more data and analysis to go on.
Stephen, I think wanted something.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, you stated this correctly, but I just wanted to make sure that it was clear. The 45 days will actually run before your meeting in January. So if this is approved tonight, staff will bring forward the extension at your next meeting, the 17th of December. That's the only way to ensure continuity. It doesn't have to be for 10 months and 15 days. You can shorten that time period to whatever you think is appropriate. But I did want to let you know, if this is passed, you should expect to see this same thing on your next agenda.
And we'll be able to discuss a longer period of time, potentially.
I think that's the goal. The goal is to pause so it gives staff appropriate amount of time to look at this. So that's a good idea.
In fact, Madam Mayor, that was my question, as the Mayor Pro Tem just stated. We could get a jump, while we do need more than 45 days, and we would encourage you to extend it at the next meeting when we present that to you. If you can give some guidance, and I believe I'm sensing a consensus, but I wanted to repeat it just to be sure, because we could start that analysis now. We'll take more than 45 days, looking at these development restrictions that have been placed in other communities, distance, sensitive uses, maybe saturation issues. So if that is, it appears to be the consensus, we can start that analysis now and get a jump on it. Because if we don't have a clear consensus of what you want us to analyze, we'll wait till the next meeting, and that'll be another period of time before we receive that analysis. In fact, the item on your agenda the next time would be just the extension. So we'd rather get going with whatever analysis you guide us to.
I think we need to open the public hearing. Go ahead, Council.
Yeah, but it's just not the location. It's the amenities that go with them. Do they have charging stations for cars? Do they have fresh fruit? Do they have vegetables? Do they have other amenities that makes it an asset to the community? I'm not worried just about the gas station where it's located. What amenities do they bring to that community? Because, you know, some of them have fresh salads and they have stuff. So an asset. So when it's not only there, it has good looking landscape, it has other things to it that then makes it a viable thing. I don't want just a gas station and convenience store. I want it to be something that people can utilize. So the amenities that go with it, and like charging station, electric charging stations along the thing where we have more people that will stop because we have those charging stations at the same time. Then they can go in and get a healthy meal or a snack while their car is charging and go out. So I'm looking at the amenities besides the location.
And the whole development concept and what it needs to look like, and the highest quality of gas station and what they bring. Yes.
Location is important, and land use is important as well. And I think, you know, strategically placing them in places where they will be utilized often. Like, you know, we have the potential to bring hotels to our city. When you go out of town and you go to a hotel, there's probably a gas station nearby. I'm usually walking there to get toiletries or something. So being strategic using our land use is important, but I think all this discussion is great meat for our staff to go and look at some of these things that they could find. So,
Well, before we go there, let's open the public hearing. I have several requests to speak. The first one is Jonathan Becerra.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, fellow council members. Appreciate the opportunity to speak on this matter. I was one of the individuals who spoke on public comment during the commission meeting, and one of the very interesting things I found as a local organizer was that the gas corporations agreed with me. You know, it's very few and far in between that we get a subject matter where, you know, the agreements upon two seemingly diametrically opposed entities kind of agree that maybe it's time to pause on this. I've also been lucky enough to have been voted upon the past 3 elections, about 15,000 residents in the city of Indio. I do that by talking to households, people. I promise you, they're not asking for more gas stations. I promise you they're not. They want housing, they want a bunch of other things, but it's not gas stations. I think what you guys are alluding to are more opportunities for economic development, diversity in economic development. You know, we saw a young man come graduate, get in here, have a job here. I'd love to see more businesses like that. I'd love to see more businesses that offer these kinds of just food diversity programs, but it's not going to happen at gas stations. I think it is incumbent upon us just to, it's okay to take a pause. I think we did this with storage facilities, you know, successfully. I think, you know, when I look and I come off an over ramp into the city of Indio, I want to see something else besides gas stations and fast food. We are so much more than that. And I think, I think it's okay just to take a pause in this. And I think I really encourage you all to just really go forward with this moratorium. I think we could find a better solution. And I think on top of what you guys are speaking towards in terms of economic studying, I think health studies are important. When the Desert Sun asked for my opinion about this a couple years ago, regarding the concentration and saturation of gas stations in local residential areas. You know, the opportunity, I think, is here for the largest city in the Coachella Valley, and we can probably study how this affects families, residents, how much these, things we're not really understanding how they're gonna really affect us, and there's an opportunity here to do a health study as well on top of an economic study. I'll leave that there. I appreciate you guys' time. This is a long meeting. But these are important subjects, and I think a moratorium is appropriate. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Okay, Jackie, Ms. Lopez.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor Holmes and Mayor Pro Tem and council members. Jackie Lopez, longtime resident and former commissioner. Tonight, the council is being asked to introduce a 45-day moratorium. The 45-day moratorium being introduced tonight is just the first step, but it's the only first step. Some discussion about what other cities doing. We should be looking at cities like Petaluma, Herba Valley, and Santa Rosa, which only made real progress after extending their pauses and adopting a comprehensive zoning reforms. Otherwise, permanent zoning changes. These cities recognize the same issues Indio is facing today: corridor saturation, outdated regulations, and the need to plan for EV transition and neighborhood compatibility. Their solutions were not temporary, but they're comprehensive. They were comprehensive and permanent. Indio needs are equally real and equally urgent. Just look at our key corridors: Highway 111, heavily saturated; Indio Boulevard, an aging infrastructure corridor with compatibility challenges; Jackson and Monroe, where family neighborhoods meet, and growing commercial pressure; Avenue 44 and 50, growth area, where the staff had confirmed new development interests in both the north and south of Indio. None of these areas have spacing standards, corridor caps, or residential buffers, EV requirements, and modern CUP conditions, or clear saturation thresholds. These are basic zoning tools used by cities across the state, and Indio should develop them before approving additional stations. And again, that brings me back to the claim in the staff report about the 18 million unmet demand. The numbers presented without methodology, mapping, or corridor level analysis. Most importantly, when translated into a real-world land use, 18 million represents one or maybe two gas stations, at most. Because of a modern fuel market, generation generates between 12 to 16 million per year. That figure does not just justify new stations in already saturated corridors, and it cannot guide responsible planning until a full saturation study is complete. So why is taking no action not an option tonight? It does nothing. Doing nothing does not maintain stability. It exposes our communities to inconsistent decisions. It falls on the seniors in District 1, families in District 2, 3, and 4, and high-growth areas in District 5. It leaves our Highway 111 and New Boulevard vulnerable to further saturation without the protections of modern zoning would provide. A moratorium is not anti-business. It's pro-data, pro-planning, and pro-fairness. And extending it gives Indio the time it needs to complete the studies, develop zoning tools, and adopt a long-term framework that reflects our values and our future. I urge council to move this moratorium forward and complete the comprehensive zoning reform Indio needs. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Okay. And one last request to speak, Ms. Maryhugh.
Good evening. Mayor Holmes, congratulations on the appointment, and council members, thank you for having me tonight. I did put down some notes, so bear with me. Those of you that have met me before know that my name is Tony Maryhugh, and I am the Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer for Chandi Group USA. And Chandi Group is known as being in the gas station business. So it is something that he does very well and has done for a long time. This is not a question about not wanting competition. Mr. Chandi is very favorable and takes competition as a compliment. because he believes he can always do it better than somebody else. But I am here tonight to urge you to consider the moratorium. Over just the past 2.5 years, the number of gas stations in the city of Indio has increased from 22 to more than 31. That's 2.5 years. It's a 40% increase. And I think that significantly outpaces the population growth of even the largest city in the valley. It outpaces the traffic growth and any reasonable projection of fueling demand. The rapid expansion alone signals that we need to take a pause and ask an essential question. Do we actually need more gas stations, and are they the best use of the limited land available? A temporary moratorium gives the city exactly what it needs right now, which is time to conduct a data-driven study of feasibility and demand, rather than continuing to approve projects on a first-come, first-served basis. You need to understand if the number of current stations already meets or even exceeds anticipated long-term demand, and given statewide trends towards electric vehicles and cleaner transportation. Even though we all say that's not coming yet, it's far out, we need to be planning for it, and that's your job, guiding the city. The pause would allow the city to evaluate how the additional gas stations fit within your general plan that you just spent a lot of time putting together and have already disregarded on recent approvals of other stations. The study that reported an unmet demand, and I'm glad that Jackie Lopez mentioned it, but the unmet demand of 18 million raises more questions. Quite frankly, I'm not at liberty to discuss Mr. Shandy's financials or what those gas stations do, but I will be very surprised if that Walmart alone doesn't produce that 18 million in annual revenue. That is, there's something wrong with those numbers. In the time that the Planning Commission first raised the idea of the moratorium several months ago, the city has received yet another application. The 45-day moratorium is a Band-Aid. It's not a ban, it's a reasonable, responsible, temporary tool. By taking the pause now, we can prevent oversaturation, protect against future abandoned sites, because as these bigger stations come in, the smaller independent owners are not going to be able to keep up with the competition and are going to end up closing their stores. And in short, the moratorium is about good, responsible planning, stewardship of land, and ensuring the decisions reflect the current needs and the future realities. Again, 45 days is not long enough to gather the data needed. I'm surprised you didn't at least start with 90, but I think it's a good start. And I urge you to conduct the thorough analysis needed to get this done. Thank you. It's over there, I can't see it over here. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, very much. All right. Does anybody else wish to speak before I close the public hearing on this particular item? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. And team, council?
Just had a question.
Yes, sir.
Counselor, had asked this question as to why is it 45 days right now?
Yes, sir. So under the relevant government code section that allows a urgency ordinance to be adopted as a moratorium, the maximum permitted initial time period is 45 days. Requires a 4/5 vote. It can be extended at a subsequent hearing by an additional 10 months, 15 days. Combine those two together, it's a total of a year. And then there is one final potential extension for an additional year. So that's the 2 years that you heard your community development director reference. But this initial urgency ordinance establishing the moratorium, the maximum time period is 45 days based on how it was publicly noticed.
Thought it was important we clarify that if it was possible, but you just heard why.
Yeah, right, exactly. The 45 days is what we need to pass, you know, if that's what the council wants to do, that we need to pass now.
Madam Mayor, perhaps before you deliberate, again, I hate to be so specific, but I think it will help staff as you deliberate and finally make a motion one way or the other. Some of the speakers spoke to more elaborate studies specific to health, saturation, the economic analysis. Those would be done by a third party. So again, if that's your desire, we could get a head start on those, seeking proposals, RFPs, and so forth over the next 45 days. What you discussed prior to the public comment was more specific to development standards, spacing, saturation, landscaping, amenities, what's in the gas station itself, right? So I think there's kind of an A and B there. You do not have to give us that direction, but it would give us a head start if you did. For example, those more significant studies, probably a $30,000 to $50,000 thing, so we need to find an appropriation. But we also need to do a little RFP. Whom would we select to do that? And we can start that now, if that's your decision. So I would encourage you that if you make a motion on the moratorium and to put one in place, that you give us some guidance on what you ought to have us research during this time.
Good, thank you. Okay, please.
Sure. So I agree with the option B, whereas using our staff here with the information that we already have, the maps, you know, and then looking at the other cities around us and seeing what other cities are implementing in terms of, you know, their requirements for gas stations. As Councilmember Miller mentioned, looking at, you know, other amenities that we can include in there, but also looking at the geographical, you know, concentrations that we currently have in our city and making some decisions based on those facts.
Perfect. Is that a motion, or do you want to, conversation? Mayor Pro Tem?
I agree. I think we need to give staff an appropriate amount of time to do this work. And, you know, I think one of the goals is to look at saturation and look at land use, environmental analysis. And I think our staff might be capable of that. Nonetheless, within this 45-day period, if on December 17th, I believe, if the city manager comes back and says, this is what we have, we can move forward, or do you want to extend it for us to get more information? I think that's an option that we will have, to extend it at that point. But 45 days is probably not enough time for staff to do this. Staff has a heavy load already. We look around our city, they're busy, but this is a pause to give them enough time. So I'll pass it on to my other colleagues, but I think that we're moving in the right direction with option B.
Okay. Councilmember Gutron?
I'm comfortable with everything that was said. I just don't want to repeat the mistakes from the past. I want to see these facilities, that there's something incorporated, that they must maintain their properties. And I don't know what else to say about that, because that's the complaints I hear. And again, whether it doesn't affect the quality of life, they're properly placed and not in abundance. And so
I concur. I have no problem with the moratorium. I think we need to look at where they go, but I really do believe that the amenities are a big asset to it. I think we really need to look at what they are and if they're an asset to that area. And the more amenities they have, I think that's how the Planning Commission should rank them and look at them to see which ones go in there. If we're going to limit it to, let's just say 5 more gas stations, the ones that bring the most amenities for that community, that has the best landscape and it's going to be an asset to that area, is the ones we should pick. And we're not picking winners or losers. We're picking the one that's going to be the best asset for that area. If we're going to put it in there, charging stations, fresh food, other kinds of food, salads and other stuff, so that when people walk in there, they can take and go out. And it's really a community market that happens to have a gas station with it.
Yeah, I mean, look at LNG. I think that's going to be an excellent opportunity to fulfill those requests with their standing property, and if they expand on that, so that's a perfect example. So I agree with that as well.
I think it's time to take a break. I think what I'm hearing also is that we really want our staff to do this deep dive. I'm not sure, well, I'll speak for myself, I'm not sure I want to go down the path of a $50,000 analysis. I think we have the ability,
I have a question.
to do that.
I just thought about something. Somebody mentioned, you know, how some of our local businesses might not be able to compete with some of these larger corporations, stuff like that. And, you know, even mentioning how one gas station could bring in $18 million. That's a huge amount of money. And I'm just wondering if there could be some kind of local ownership requirement that we would have to make sure that that money is staying here within the community.
That's a conversation we can have, and that can be part of the study. I think that needs to be part of the study. As somebody mentioned, a residential buffer. I mean, I think that makes sense. I've heard several residents indicate, I don't want a gas station in my backyard, and you know, I understand that process, that thought process. I think we need to take a different look at gas stations. They are not just gas stations. They have to have the amenities for that community. Almost, you know, you used LNG. You know, that's a neighborhood store, and it just so happens eventually that they'll sell gas. And certainly that's an outstanding model. And so, since my computer has now gone poof, I would entertain a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion that.
You know what, I need to close the public hearing.
You did.
I did, okay, thank you.
Well, I'll make a motion and recommend that the city council introduce a first reading of ordinance number 1828 to consider a 45-day interim gas station urgency moratorium.
I'll second that motion.
Perfect, and roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Miller?
Aye.
Councilmember Patron?
Aye.
Councilmember Ortiz?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Furman?
Aye.
And Mayor Holmes?
Aye. All right, fantastic.
You need
I'm sorry?
oh, you have, okay.
Yeah, you can't leave, you can't escape.
No, I was gonna give you my surface if you
Okay,
need to.
yeah, I didn't connect it. I figured it would last a little bit longer. However, I do have several requests to speak, and now is the time to go through the 4 requests to speak. The first one is Mike Wales.
Hello, City Council. Hello, Mayor. Fantastic prior engagement on the subjects. A lot of what was said in all those different comments of a lot of passion was fantastic. It definitely lends itself to a very engaged city. And congratulations, Mayor Holmes. In your talk, you were saying it was nice to hear you. It was very nice to hear you say it was a city of families, family-oriented and supportive. So I'm here on behalf of the families of the entire city, not just the families in the Trilogy Polo Club, which you obviously know is what my primary objective is. What I'm hearing, though, a lot of this passion on these other subjects is you're looking for the residents are looking to you to say, hey, residents, we come first. Residents over revenue. And that's one of the things I would say you need to look at. The families want the city council to commit to actual action, not just words. We want you to hold your city staff, your city manager, and your city attorney accountable. Accountable so that they will follow through in your direction. So when you talk about having food and vegetables in a gas station, it sounds fantastic, but if you don't hold that staff accountable to later on go back and say, hey, are they doing what we agreed to, it's not going to happen. It's the same thing with the issues we're facing at Trilogy Polo Club. You have not held the developer responsible. You have not had them commit to the PMP, the development agreement, and then that is now extended to the Zenda estate and the other properties in there that are not following the existing regulations. The last meeting, the TPC filled this room, the prior room. We got your attention, which was fantastic. We appreciated that. Since then, we saw some engagement, more engagement from Councilmember Catrone, which we appreciate. We also had 2 of you city council members come visit us at night. We thank you, the 2 of you. Hope you enjoyed your visit to the Trilogy Club.
I've been there 4 nights.
Awesome, thank you.
My sister lives there, so there's lots of reasons to be.
So we want you to come back to when it's rocking and rolling so you can really hear it. We appreciate code enforcement having camping out and kind of as their base of operation because they were able to respond very quickly to some other options. But I also understand there's some internal discussion going on. We caught your attention. Wow, we got to change something. We got to do something. Why not engage with Trilogy? We've been trying to engage for 3 years with staff. Say, hey, let's sit down. Let's talk about this. So if you're going to engage, why not get the people who've really been studying this thing completely involved? Why rush to a new law of some sort? Enact that moratorium. If it's good enough for a gas station, how about a moratorium on TUPs? How about a moratorium on more party houses? It will work just as well for this situation. We've been asking for it. Mr. Halverson said to give them more time to look at it. The last meeting, City Manager Montgomery said it would be easy to tell staff to stop taking applications. You have the power to do that. You expressed that. That illustrated me that for the last 3 years, the city manager could have been more proactive in helping the Trilogy Polo Club. Instead, staff has been instructed to issue the TUP approvals at most 1 to 2 days prior. On a recent public information request, I was able to see on a chart that those applications have been submitted months prior, but instead we get notified 1 or 2 days, so it gives us as a community no ability to engage with staff going, hey, wait, time out. That's part of your existing TUP ordinance. Also, you're supposed to have 30 days in between.
If I may,
Yes.
We operate on 3 minutes so if you can
So a
just-
suggestion, put 3 minutes up here, because I can't look to the
I hear
side.
ya. You got it.
I am pretty much finished. Please direct the city manager and city attorney to engage in good faith with the TPC community. Transparency is good, data is good. We're not getting that. If we can put it all on the table and have a very engaged conversation, we want to work towards a solution long-term. You have 1,000 homes in there that are looking for you. Thank you very much.
Okay, I have other requests to speak. May I remind everyone that it's 3 minutes, please. Jose Garduño. You think he left?
He left.
He left, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Melanie Fessmeyer.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Congratulations on your new headquarters. I just wanted to put this on a high note, hopefully, at the end of the meeting, and that is thank you for doing so much work on the downtown. All of the staff members and all of the council members have done a marvelous job, and I'm very thankful. I know we worked on it for years and years, trying to get some enthusiasm for the old downtown. We couldn't save all of it, unfortunately, because we had some beautiful buildings. They were small and antique, and they would have been great places today if we had built around them what we wanted. But you've done a marvelous job, and I see a lot of young people interested in coming downtown. We spent years trying to do that with the Tamale Festival and other events that we developed, and gradually it has happened. So I am delighted with what I see, and I thank all of you for that. And I hope this gives you some enthusiasm to continue doing it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know it was part of your dream and your vision. Thank you. And the last request to speak, George Williams, sir. I'm sorry, I didn't get a request to speak. No. Well, George has a request to speak, so George gets to come on up.
You close it. I want you. Melody just making a statement about the Tamale Festival, and I want to give you a little bit of history about the Tamale Festival. And I've been asking you guys to make a plaque for the people who made the Tamale Festival when the downtown was in the bottom of the thing. David Hernandez, me, and others, 8 families become and put the Tamale Festival together. Only person who worked with us in the city council was Melody. The rest of it denied us the pleasure of trying to make the Tamale Festival. We raised the money, we put the money together, and we spent months and months putting the first Tamale Festival together. We bring 50,000 people down to the downtown Indio, the first Tamale Festival, with all the work we did. After years, you're talking about the Polo grounds and the musical. The musical wasn't there, and the Polo ground wasn't doing nothing. We were bringing, in the 6 years that we ran the Tamale Festival, we bring up to 150,000 people down to the downtown Indio. I believe that David Hernandez, he don't have to be me or anything, David Hernandez deserved to be recognized. He was Chamber of Commerce president, he was Fair de Grand president, he was city council, he was mayor. He spent most of his life working with the city of Indio. I invite him to go and eat in Palm Desert, and he said, oh no, you're gonna take me to Palm Desert? I'm not going, it has to be Indio. We gotta leave the taxes in Indio, the sales tax in Indio. So it's really, I don't know, you guys don't wanna do it, you guys don't wanna spend maybe $200-300 to put a plaque where we make the Tamale Festival in Indio Hotel. That is where the Tamale Festival birthed. We were there having dinner, and we come up with the idea to do something for the downtown. I don't think it's much. I've been asking for this, and Bessie been asking you guys to do something about it. And there is where the Indio Hotel is, you got a beautiful place now, we got a beautiful area there. Why can we not make a plaque to put where the Tamale Festival began and what it brings to Indio? I don't know that you guys don't want the David Hernandez name there or whatever it is, or what. I don't know what the reason is, but I've been asking you guys for 20 years. And you guys owe it to us that we start the Tamale Festival to bring the city of Indio on. We put the Tamale Festival put the city of Indio in the main newspapers around the country. After that, New Mexico make a Tamale Festival. In fact, they invite me to go and help them on it, to make the Tamale Festival over there. So, you know, so it's kind of dirty and kind of, thank you. I don't want to say it.
Thank you. Mr. Williams.
All right. Oh, I love that.
Mr. Williams.
Good evening. My name is George Williams. I live at 45071 Park Street here in Indio, California. You got that? Okay. Wow. This is a great day. This is a great place to do business. I take a look at three stories out of this building. It's impressive. I look out at the top, I see 3 stories over there. I see that college. I see 3 stories. I see young people. I see my favorite coffee shop, both of them. I hate to say this, but I will have to do this. I'll start telling people, not about Indio, because I keep my coffee shops to myself. I will tell them instead, go to 6th Street in Coachella, which I might add, folks, is doing the same thing you folks are doing. They're right there with us. But I suppose what I really look at is that sign right here on the corner, and that one in the middle of the street, and that one way, way, way over by Vintage, okay? And they're horizontal, they're vertical, and in bright lit letters it says Indio. Great, it spells Indio. I know, this is Indio. But you know something? Those signs speak to you in another language. It's an emotional language. And it's a language when you see that sign, and you got to tell you, I get emotional sometimes, so if my voice goes up, give me a break. That is, they say, Indio has arrived. We are ready to take our place, our rightful place, as the largest city in the Coachella Valley. And I might say the most, dare I use the word, balanced city. That's Indio, and those signs say it. I don't know what you paid for that work, but it is well done. We talk about the revitalization of a downtown. I can tell you a revitalization of a downtown does not take place overnight. It is something that takes years. And in the case of Indio, the revitalization in Indio started as arson and fire. There are people on this city council at some time that really felt that the best old town was a flat town where you could build something on. There just was no real interest in keeping the downtown up and alive. It is a battle that some of us fought. It's a battle that right now, today, we're seeing just absolutely bounties. That's what it is. So, to whom do we owe this a debt of gratitude? Who had the civic pride? Who had the willingness to stick downtown? Well, I have an answer. A lot of people. But you know something? I'd like to highlight those few that are not elected officials or politicians or developers or people asking the city for money in order to build someplace or to buy something. Those are not the people that I'm talking about. The people that are the heart of our downtown are those entrepreneurs that came downtown, and I'm going to name them. My answer is it's a lot of people, but here are a few that are not politicians.
So talk really fast.
Entrepreneurs that saw an opportunity to make music, to shake out the civic cobwebs, to bring in younger people and to put Indio on the international map. Now let's stop for a moment. I said international map. I didn't say upper Coachella Valley. I did not say Arizona. I said international. Now, a few years ago, Melanie and I had the privilege of being in Croatia. And that's a small town on the other side of the Adriatic. And we are just tourists and travelers. and we're passing through with our passports in one hand and our bags in the other, and we're looking at strange people that speak a strange language, and when they get to the end with a passport, they look at it, a young woman, well, about 20 or so, in a uniform. She looks at that, she looks at me, she looks at that, you've seen that look, and then she smiles and she says, "Indio, have you been to the Coachella?" Wow! Wow! I mean, and I've never forgotten that.
George, we have that 3-minute. I think we all love hearing you and hearing your stories, but to be fair.
Well, I have just one other item that I would like to do. I'll skip through my 42 minutes that I thought I'd be here. But this is at a very, very personal note. At a time when it was very doubtful that the city of Indio, the downtown, would ever survive the increasingly, I guess the phrase today is transactional policies of some of the then current city managers and elected city officials, there was one official, Ben Godfrey, that just stood out. He worked. He was for the downtown. He was also for the downtown. He never saw a building, a historic building, that he didn't want to make sure the city of Indio kept. And he took the steps. He used his position and he used his influence. He used everything that he had. And at the end of the day, down here at the museum, we have a one-room, original, if you wish, I can use that phrase, schoolhouse. And Ben Godfrey was the moving person on that. I don't know if Ben is still with us.
Yes, he is.
He still is.
But every day, watch this boy, for a person that makes a living talking to people, I get a little bit too emotional on this. But every day that I walk out and I take a look at the work that's being done, I see Ben's dream of a pathway, a wide street with lights and with trees on both sides that started way out there on the county center, if you wish, and came down here, straight down, walkable to downtown Indio. It's there, it's being done. I'm proud of it. And if Ben is still around, I will make the point to find him, bring him down, and let him at least walk and feel. Enough of it. You did a good job, folks. I'm proud to be here. I wish I had another 20 years because I think downtown's going to be absolutely crazy great. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Thank you. And on that note, yes.
You want to live 20 more years? You gotta be kidding me.